What's going on, everyone? Peace and blessings, and welcome aboard to everyone with another episode of the Halftime Coach and Adjustment Show with my brother from another Philly, Halftime, and me, the sexiest fat man that you'll ever know, Coach Edd Gladney. And we want to welcome to the show today an amazing content creator, Next Shift Randy. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in, ready for another exciting and eventful show today. But before I do that, I always like to go around and make sure and see how everyone is doing. Halftime, my brother, how you doing today?
Good. I'm trying to after I go to work, I gotta try to build my body back up from getting my butt kicked. So it's
Right.
just another day.
Just like playing football back in the days, right?
Yep. It's just like trying to get built back up. I'm getting, but it's that oldness. Man, I can't. You can tell when it's gonna rain, and you're you look at you when your dad used to always say, "Hey, it's about to rain." You're like, how the hell you know it's about to rain, dude? He didn't watch the weather. No, I can feel it in my bones.
Hey, I'm with you. Trust me, my old body really feels that. So I'm with you. So, but I want to welcome to the show Randy again.
Yeah, baby.
There you go. Yeah, he's watching the Phillies and the Mets. So, but welcome to the show, everyone. Randy, one of the great content creators in the Hardcore Sports Network. But Next Shift Randy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. It's a cold, dreary day here in Leduc, Alberta. Lots of rain past 3 days. So I'm all bundled up. That's why it looks like I'm wearing like a hoodie. I got a long sleeve shirt underneath, and I'm just like trying to stay as warm as possible. It's cold down here, so I'm excited to be on here. So maybe a lot of talking will get me warmed up.
Yeah, you get like minus 32 degrees, don't you?
In the wintertime, it gets colder than that. Yeah, I remember working at the airport once, 1 year, and I was fueling airplanes, and it was minus 54 with the wind chill.
Damn.
Okay, that's one thing I ain't doing.
And imagine fueling an airplane. You can't hide from the wind. You were literally standing outside directly in front of that wind. And you're just like, you're just sitting there with like about 20 of those little like warm packs just layered around in your jumpsuit, just hoping to God that they stay warm the whole entire time you're fueling that plane. Because there were times where I was fueling a plane and I had to be out there for 3 to 4 hours, and those suckers wouldn't stay that warm that long. And you're not allowed to sit inside the truck. You have to stay outside in case of emergency. So it sucked, man. It sucked, but the pay was nice. But it sucked in the winter.
Yeah, I can imagine the pay is nice. They're going to pay you nice off of stuff like that. So, well, there's one thing I want to say to you, Randy, man. I see you got your dick behind you.
I didn't want it on my back, so I thought I had it over my back. So I got my dick over my back right now.
Yeah, there you go. So, I
was gonna say that's the.
Yeah,
I love the shirt behind him where it's just
exactly.
And it's the number one dick.
But you're also playing with your dick a little bit back there too.
Technically, I was playing with it before I set it up. This dick, for anybody listening.
So let's tap into the chat right now. What's up? This is Halftime. Thanks for being a great supporter, always being here every day. So hey, fellas. Daniel, yo, what's going on, Playboy? Thanks for tapping in. Hey, there is the point guard for the Hardcore Sports Network, Mitch Kofsky. What's up, Mitch? Thanks for tuning in, man. Great show this morning too. Yeah, Daniel, it's going well. How's it going with you, brother? Hope well for you and your family. What is it? I guess it's 1-1 Mets and Phillies right now.
Yeah.
So you guys got that on. I got the Liberty, Connecticut, which are tied also. So at the half. Hi, Daniel Berry highlights. What's up, Chad? What's up, Coach Edd? Halftime, Philly halftime, Randy. No clap, smack for me, Chad. Come on, bro. Where's that at? What's up, Daniel? Mrs. Halftime. Mrs. Halftime, Philly said he wants to go to the Nickel. Yeah, I
You're
want
not the Nickelodeon cruises, but
I want some Krusty Krab pizza. That sounds interesting. Krusty Krab pizza. Yeah. Okay. So
I'm not sure if anything that starts with the word crusty if I really want to eat it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But that's me. That's me. That's me.
Look, crab on a pizza. I'm just intrigued by that, man. Crab or lobster on pizza. You might have something there, instead of a lobster or a crab roll, crab and lobster on pizza.
And I love me pizza.
Exactly, I do too. So I love food.
You put both together. Oh,
yes,
you make a fat man very happy.
Exactly. So here comes Mitch SpongeBob reference. Okay, and I knocked it out again. Oh, screw it. I'm just gonna go out the light. So, yeah. So, but let's jump right into the show, and we're gonna start out with a little Q&A with Next Shift Randy. So, you ready to be on point, Randy? All right, let's go. So, I'm gonna start you out. Very simple. How did you start in terms of this type of format? In terms of social streaming and so on and so forth.
So honestly, what started it was obviously like I'm sure a lot of other creators. COVID came, and sports kind of stopped and it was halted. But I still wanted to talk. I still wanted to get my piece off. And so I ironically one day I just jumped onto YouTube and I typed in sorry coach, but I typed in Philadelphia Eagles creators. And a list of creators came up. Obviously, like you said, point guard Mitch Kofsky was at the top of the list. So I clicked his page and I started watching some of his videos, and I was like, wait, you can put videos out like this and people will watch them. So then I started doing more research, and then I found hardcore sports. And then I just like a crazy ex-girlfriend that wouldn't leave you alone. I was in everybody's chat, constantly talking about whatever it was the topic. And it didn't even have to be about the Eagles. I was hopping into the Giants chat. I was hopping into the Redskins or the Washington football teams chat, everything and anything. I was just trying to see like what the market was like. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I should make my own page. I should do this myself. And then the rest of it is all history. And now we're here.
Okay, and go ahead, Halftime. You got a question for him?
Me and Randy's we stream like the Eagles games a lot and all. And I know you're big in basketball. You know a lot of basketball, a lot of hockey. You know a lot of sports. Like, did you grow up watching all these sports with your family, or did your family put you into sports to make them watch it, or was it just you yourself that liked it?
You
want personally, my opinion, me personally, like I had family members that forced me to watch sports. So I'm asking you, like, was it the same way, or was it just you said, "Hey, look at this," and I love it?
Obviously, for the viewers that don't know or are listening on Spotify, if this makes Spotify, is that I'm Canadian. I was born Canadian, Albertan. I grew up in British Columbia, but was raised in Alberta. I eventually obviously moved back. Obviously hockey was the first thing. Like when you grow up in Canada, it's like they almost give you a hockey stick right out of you come out of the womb. And they're like, let's see what your grip strength is like, like let's see, can you do a wrist shot? And it's like, so like, obviously I grew up watching and loving hockey. But I could never play it because I could just never skate straight. I was never good being on a set of skates. I was always the guy that was put in net because I was a big guy and they wanted me to stop the pucks. But I loved all sports. My mom and dad put me at a young age into soccer, but I kept actually tackling people. Like I full on would tackle them, and I would get basically ejected out of most of the games that I play. And my mom and dad looked at themselves and were like, yeah, this is definitely not what he wants to be in. So I don't know why their minds didn't click. So they put me in baseball. And then when they put me in baseball, like I just was too big. So like they had me on the outfield and I was getting lit up every time they hit the ball to me. So it was just like the endurance part wasn't there. And then like the story that I shared, I went into I never played a lick of football as a junior or anything else like that. I got into high school and I walked into the gym. It was a first time being at the school. Shout out to St. Mary's High School. And I walked into the gym and I seen all these booths of like where I had to sign up for my classes, and walks over the football coach and he goes, "You're starting on my football team." And I said, "Excuse me." My mom's sitting there and I look over Mom. She's got this smile on her face. And he's like, "You're playing on my football team." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He, tryouts. He's like, no. He's like, I want to mold you. I think I know what I can do with you. Fast forward, I went to the football practice. Didn't mean to, but I hurt 2 teammates, rip arming them, going across my defenseman or my offensive lineman, and getting to the quarterback. My coach was like, "Wow, we got something here." My first year as a junior, we won cities and went to provincials. We ended up losing to a team that actually, ironically, I live really close to now as an adult. And then in my senior year, I tore my MCL and ACL. And that was basically the gist of my second year. I came back my third year, but I just never had the pull off like I wanted to. So then I just started getting into sports broadcasting, and I liked it from that point on, and then so on and so forth. And then I just loved basketball. I was always a Toronto Raptors fan. I was actually a Vancouver Grizzlies fan when the Grizzlies were originally here. I went to a couple games and saw some games live. I actually got to see Steve Francis and Sharif Abdurrahim. That was kind of cool. But yeah, other than that, the sports just came naturally because I'm a sports head. So,
well, I've always wondered, how did you come up with your name, Next Shift? I know it probably relates to hockey, but I'm assuming. But how did you actually come up with your name?
Originally, I was Randall the Handle, and everybody thought my name was Randall, but it's Randy. And I hated how like everybody was like, "Hey," like they'd message me, like, "Hey, Randall." I'm like, that's not even associated. I'm My real name's Randolph. For anybody that's watching and listening doesn't know, my real name is Randolph, but I go by Randy because it's a lot easier for people to first of all spell and then pronounce. But yeah, I had Randall the Handle, and I didn't like that, so I wanted something short but like sweet, and I was like Next Shift, almost like the next play, the next down. Yeah. I was like, I like the way that rolls. So I'm like, you know what, Next Shift. And then I searched it at first. I didn't want to be like Next Shift 13 or Next Shift 55 or whatever. I wanted to be just strictly Next Shift. And I searched it, nothing was on there. And I was like, bam, taking this, and had it ever since.
That's intriguing, man. And that's a great way to come up with a name, doing your research and so on and so forth. So, and yeah, you're right. There's sometimes you run into content creators with multiple, and then you have all the numbers. So it's interesting, and I like that. So
yeah.
Now we see what sports you've covered, but were you a fan of each of those teams? Like you said, originally it was the Grizzlies, but then you went over to the Raptors, Toronto. And you talked about the Blue Jays. Why? And why are you a fan of the Eagles? I mean, why are you a fan of all these teams?
I'm a fan of this team because of a guy by the name of Mr. Brian Dawkins. When I watched that, when I first got to see that man, when my coach sent me home and he was like, I want you to like go watch football, like pick a team and just follow their dogs in the trenches. And for some damn reason, every time I watched videos on the Eagles, Brian Dawkins came up making a big hit after another big hit, jumping, flying like almost before the Troy Polamalu era, diving on dudes, flying through the air, like just literally putting his body on the line for the team. Basically saying like, I play for the logo on the front. My name's just represented as the guy that's protecting that spot. And I took that with pride. And I was like, you know what? Not only do I like this team, I like that mentality, I'm going to play like that as well. So for me, the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, every year is a different team, but for me, that era was what embodied me as an Eagle fan and wanted to play like. So watching them and just seeing like the ferocious team, and not sliding on anybody else's team out there, whether or not, you guys had your Michael Strahans. And then, by the way, I was pulling for you guys every time in the Super Bowl versus those fucking cheaters, the damn Patriots. Come on, Brady, you suck. You don't deserve the praise. You're a cheater. I hate you. Yeah, that was that. Yeah.
So since you said that, Randy, I do have a question.
Yep.
Who do you hate more? Is it the New England Patriots, or do you hate the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh man,
who do
that
you
one
hate more? Even though New England cheated, or do you hate the Dallas Cowboys?
I'm gonna say because I really felt like, I believe it was 03-04 when we went to the Super Bowl and Terrell Owens came back from that horrific injury and everybody thought he was done, and he actually led the Super Bowl and led us in that comeback, and we should have won that game, but fucking Tom cheated. So for me, it's probably got to be more 51% Patriots, 49% Cowgirls, because I will never give the Cowgirls I won't call them by their name. I no. So yeah, it's 51-49. Pretty close though.
That's a good one. And trust me, I understand about the Cowboys. I have to say it right now because they've been beating my team up. But I usually say that team from down south. That's what I usually say. But
fair enough.
In terms of sports, you were talking about playing in playing football. Was it actually Canadian rules or was it Americanized football when you played out there?
Canadian.
Okay, it was Canadian. So the 3 down in the wider field got you, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I wanted to ask you, in terms of content creations, what are your ultimate goals as a content creator?
By the end of this, for people to have the word next shift just roll off their tongue when they talk about YouTube creators, when big names get brought up, my name is in the top 15 of the best creators out there. I want to be somebody that brings stats, but also brings a personality with that stat as well. I don't just want to be somebody that sits here and talks to the screen. Is this that I am going to be a bit boisterous? I will swear I am. That's my character. That's who I am. I can't turn that off. When I turn it up and I turn it on, you get what you get. So for me, that's what I want to be known for.
See, I like that. Turn it on, turn it up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I
did that for you. I appreciate
I
do
that.
I do my research.
Well, as a content creator, what do you think is your strongest asset?
Oh man, obviously, other than probably my personality, I would have to say my desire. I think those two probably go hand in hand. I mean, like when people listen to me call games, I'm not just like, oh, he brings the ball. I'm like, I'm in it. I'm like, I'm talking like, oh, he goes down in the corner, he hits him. Oh, big hit in the corner, brings it back up to the point. Oh, he fakes the slap shot, brings it back to the other corner, shoots it down. Let's go. Like I'm going to be boisterous. So like definitely my desire and my ambition too. So.
Yeah, I love your laces, Cole. I'm sorry. I've always loved that, man.
Thank you. So, I know some haters out there, but hey, that's how I was brought up.
Hey,
hear those laces? I love that sound. That's just
exactly. So, what athlete or athletes would you like to meet from your content? As being a content creator, what athlete or athletes would you like to meet?
Oh, I think hands down for me would be, first of all, would be Vince Carter. Because now that he's in the Hall of Fame, like just being able to get a Hall of Famer's perspective, and like obviously he had his good times there in Toronto, but I'd like to know like what he felt like during the bad times, and like what eventually made him become a net. And then, like the Raptors turned on him, and then eventually once he made his tours through other teams and went to Dallas, made that big shot in the playoffs. I mean, just for me, it would definitely be Vince Carter. And I know that's because like I'm a huge fan of his, but I just, like the teams he's been on, the minds he's been able to pick, the coaches that have been able to pick his mind, and then just the player that he is and embodied, and like just I don't think there will be a player like Vinsanity for a little bit.
What is it about Vinsanity that you loved about his game or appreciate about his game?
That he did not like, and there's no disrespect, don't get me wrong, but his disrespect towards the defense. Like I know he respected him, but man, did he not? He didn't care who was in front of him. Like I know it's an older Mutombo and this, that, and the third, but they still have that no mentality.
No.
And he attacked the basket, man. And then in the playoffs, in the Olympics, when he played for the US and he damn near dunked over the net, like it was like check him. Did he not have springs in his feet? Like, how does a human being able to lunge that hard? Like, it was blowing my mind. And like, I know I'm an indigenous white male that, can't probably jump for worth the shit. But I literally, after seeing that, got a basketball net and was trying that stuff. Like, literally, I would be rolling my ankles, falling into the garage, like you name it. Come in, my knees are all burnt up, my elbows are all shot. My mom's like, "What happened? Did you fall?" And I was like, "Yeah, I tried to do a windmill dunk. I can't windmill."
Try to do a windmill dunk. I can't do that.
But look at the effect he had on me, though. That's what I mean. So, like, could you imagine other kids that had the ability, like, they were able to take it to the next level? So it's like what he did to inspire not only just like me, but many generations of Canadians was crazy.
Okay. And I'm going to hit you with a little off the cuff question. All right. You ready for it?
Oh, yep.
What's your favorite dance move?
Oh God, and by the way, I like to dance. I do.
I know. That's why I asked that.
And for me, for all the ladies out there, by the way, I am taken. So no, sorry, off hands off. I love just getting right in the center of the dance circle. And I love just like taking my hand, kind of putting it somewhere and shaking the hips, and then like bending the knees, getting low, and kind of like then feeling myself. And then like people will flock to that. I don't know freaking why, and the next thing you know, I'm on myself. I'm backing that stuff up, telling people watch out. So there's many moves, but definitely the feeling myself, shaking the hips thing. My mom always said, she's like, "Boy, you got hips, shake them hips."
Yeah, hey, I'm with you, man. That's a good one, man. Backing it up. So, Halftime, you got a question for him before I go on?
So, Randy, I know you work and you got your family, how do you balance it all out? It's kind of hard, Joe. I know where you're going. When you say it, I know what you're going through, because it's very hard. Because I work a lot of hours, and I'm like, sometimes I just don't know how I'm balancing it out.
Sorry, Jerry.
I wanted to know, how do you balance out?
Oh man, it's difficult sometimes, Halftime, and like for somebody like me who has like a set schedule when it comes to like hours, yours is probably more difficult, because like yours could be from sun up to sundown almost, in a sense, if there's a project that needs to get done. Where mine, it's like, okay, your hours are up, you can go. Then you got to battle, if you're exhausted, if you're tired, this, that, the third, because like I said, you want to come on here and you want to give the people, the content creators, what they deserve, which is like your true self. And if you're kind of tired, it's it kind of hurts it a little bit. But for me, man, it is tough. It is. That's why like sometimes like I gotta say no. And as a content creator, I've learned that always isn't the bad thing. People got to understand that you also have a life and a schedule as well, and that things do come up. So, because at first when I was a content creator, I say yes to everything, because I was like trying to please, and I didn't want anybody to think that I was any less of a content creator than them. And then once I've now been into this for over a year now, I've learned that, you can say no, because you don't want to burn yourself out either too. So, but for me, Halftime, it is difficult. And I honestly, I look up to people like yourselves that have so much that is on the go, and just know that, if you guys are pushing through, that I can do the same as well.
Yeah, like I said, like I work a lot of hours, so I know how hard it is. Yeah. And people are like, "How are you doing it?" I'm like, you got to just push through it, but you also got to make the wife happy. You got to make the kids happy and all that.
See, that's where I'm lucky though, because I live by myself, so I don't have to worry about that. My kids are grown. I don't have to raise kids, and my granddaughter, she comes, but she can go home to her mama. So I'm with you. So yeah, but I can appreciate where you guys coming from, because when I was working and doing multiple things, yeah, trying to balance that with family is definitely a very tough endeavor. So now, who do you have a favorite content creator?
Besides me.
I want to be like, besides you two, gonna pump some tires right here. Besides, Coach Ed and Mr. Halftime. Actually, like I said, when I typed in Philly creators, I saw Mitch, but there was also another fellow, and his name was Joey Shakes, and I went into his chat, and like I saw like he would have like 400 or 500 people like on a go in his chat, and I'm like, there's no bloody way this guy's seen my message. I now have his phone number, and I can like text him. Like that's how good of a relationship that I was able to build with him, even though there was so much there. So like for him to be so humble, and for him to be such a like an approachable person, like, and he's also got a busy schedule because he works nights. So for me, it's Philly Shakes. It's Joey Shakes.
Joey Shakes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my last question to ask you in this segment is, for any aspiring content creators, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I mentioned before, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he even came on the MK headlines when we had MK headlines, which was pretty cool. And he made a couple appearances, so it was really neat that he set aside some time for us as well. But I mentioned it before with the don't burn yourself out, and like let life have life, so you can say no. Don't be afraid. Like, maybe that person was just thinking of it as like the spur of the moment, and if you're not going to do it with them, then they might not even do it. They're just looking to have somebody with them or whatnot. So like, don't feel like you're obligated or feel like maybe you ruined something because they got to see that you have a schedule and that they have a schedule, and that maybe sometimes it might not always click. But know that, it's okay to say no. It is. It really is. And number 2 is always, always, always be respectful of your chat.
Yes, exactly. That I fully agree with you, because there are some content creators that they only want to go to a certain element within their chat or certain people. So yes, you try to be respectful because they've taken their time to be here in your chat. Give them that respect, and to at least acknowledge them, so as best you can. So even if it's a simple hi, I see you there, thank you for being here. So
exactly,
that's definitely great advice in terms of respecting your chat. Actually, I just came up with 2 more questions that I just want to ask real quick. The first one is, what are your thoughts on Halftime and I right now, what we're doing right here?
The show. Yeah, I love it. I think it's neat. Yeah, I think what you guys got here is something cool, like, and the concept of it, and just like the overall scheme. I think it's sick. I'll be real. Like, if I haven't tuned in when you guys were live, I've definitely watched when I'm like vacuuming and doing laundry, and like listen. Like I sometimes can't be able to watch, but I'll like listen. And Alicia's grandmother, who's a bit older, lives with us. She'll be like, what's so funny? What? And I'm like, oh, you wouldn't understand when it comes to 2 old farts talking. She goes, I am an old fart. I'm like, you're not that kind of fart. You're an old fart. These are just old farts. but the comedy aspect, it feels like you're talking with a bunch of buddies. Kind of show. So that's what I like.
All right. Any suggestions that you think that could help better the show?
Nothing yet, because you guys it's still early, and I already like what you guys already have as a base. So maybe in the future, maybe a nip here and a nip there, but right now you guys have what I think is working really great.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate that, giving us a little insight into who you are and contributing, and letting the audience know who next shift Randy is. So we're gonna go ahead and
I
transition.
do have one question for Randy.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I should have asked you that, brother.
No,
I'm so sorry.
no. I just got one question because it just dawned on me.
Uh-oh.
Where do you rank? Like, what's your best team? Like, sports that you like first? What's first, second, third, fourth? Last. Like, is football your number one sport you like, or is it baseball, or is it hockey? Since you're Canadian, I know a lot of Canadians. They would say hockey.
Not this Canadian. No, I got the NFL. So like football. I'll throw in the CFL with that because I do watch that as well. Football, then UFC. So I love watching UFC. I'm a big fighting fan. Then basketball, then baseball, and then NASCAR.
All right.
NASCAR. Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think about NASCAR, but I
love watching racing. Both my step parents were race car drivers when I was growing up.
Okay. All right, Arku. Yeah, I kind of figured that with you, Arku. Yeah, so and I've been keeping up, keep creating, and you get better. Thank you. I mean, you guys are great. The chat, you guys are phenomenal, and I really appreciate you. This we halftime now we do try and keep it as two old farts just sitting back having a beer, talking trash and just having a good old time. But you know what, chat, you're part of the family. You're part of us sitting on that porch and just group of people just cracking and going and whatever you can do, just having a good old time. Remember that first UFC watch party? Okay.
Oh my God.
Spill it. Come on, spill it.
So obviously it was one of my very first live streams that I did by myself. AK was on it with me. It was me, AK. And I can't remember. There was somebody else was there as well. But I had my setup completely different than what I have it now. And I didn't know how to mute my mic. Like I didn't know how to turn it off. So I tried to duck under the mic or under my webcam, and I toe picked, and all you hear is the sound of a 300+ pound fat man falling into a deep freeze and screaming because he hit his back. And then AK goes, "Jesus, dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, my fucking back. It took the air out of me." And then I couldn't get up, and all you hear is Mrs. Next Shift in the background bawling her eyes out laughing. She can't even get up to help me because she's like on her side. And it was just like I went back and watched, and you can kind of see like my head and my back kind of like tippy-toeing across, and then also you see the point where I toe pick and I just disappear. So thanks, Nick, for that. I remember that.
That would have been hilarious. Yeah, first, are you all right? But then afterwards, you fall out crying, laughing. So that's a good one. So here's a question: did you follow Eddie Alvarez in UFC?
Yes, I did. I followed him actually when he was in Bellator. I was a big Bellator fan too before then. And I was actually a WEC fan before the UFC bought WEC as well. So I was a huge Uriah Faber, Eddie Alvarez, all those guys that came over from WEC and then went into Bellator, and then UFC bought out Bellator and they came into the UFC. So yeah, I'm a big
Halftime. The reason why Miss Halftime's asking that is because Alvarez's wife, she went to school with.
Oh, sick.
So she knows him. So.
Okay. Exactly. So,
all
right.
I know this is a bit off topic, but I actually I lived a block down from the British Bulldog growing up, the WWE wrestler.
Remember Greg the Hammer? Remember Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Yeah.
He lived like down the street.
Did you guys know these wrestlers?
I did.
I talked to Greg Hammer Valentine. My brother's like, "Dude, why are you talking to that guy?" And I was a kid, and I'm like talking to this guy. Dude, you're talking to a stranger. I'm like, Your dad ain't a stranger, dude. He's a wrestler. He was living with his mom. Like, because they didn't really make money back in the day.
Yeah, I've heard that story too. In the beginning, they really didn't make much money. So a lot of athletes were like that back in the day. So understandable.
I think because of the British Bulldog, I learned about boobs. He always had women on his Harley with him all the time with like just tank tops and like nothing else and very see-through.
Yeah.
And we would just be kids sitting there licking ice cream, being like, and he'd pull up and he'd be like, remember,
ice cream.
He'd be like, remember, kids, it's boobs. And it's, he'd say something like boobs and bikes and Harleys to the sky or something. And I was like, oh, he's high. Guys, don't worry, he's high.
Yeah, you're right, Arku. It is a great game. And, you know, I'm sitting here. I'm really stressing. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm sitting here stressing over that game right now because we're down by 3 now at the end of the third quarter. So and it's always the same thing with the Liberty. We start out hot in the first quarter, the second and third quarter. We allow the other teams back, and then hopefully in the fourth quarter we can pour it on. So we'll see as we go on. So
and the Phillies are destroying the Mets.
And that's where I was going. I was going into baseball right now. So I wanted to talk about that. You know, the only game right now, of course, is being played is the Phillies and the Mets. Phillies are up 6-1. There you go, Phillies. Beat them bums, the Mets. So they get a double from me coming from the New York side with the Yankees, and then of course with the Philly side. So, but in terms of the standings overall, in terms of the playoffs, and then I'm going to start overall in the American League. Yankees are overall at first at 45-20. The Guardians are at 40-22. The Orioles are also 40-22, and then the Mariners are leading the West at 36-29. You have the Royals, and this is for the wild card. The Orioles, and the Twins are in the wild card positioning. And if I go over to the National League, the Phillies right now are a half a game over the Yankees for first place. Let me double check that.
No, actually, you're ahead of us because we missed 2 games because we went to London.
But it's the percentage points because you're 44-19, we're 45-20. So technically we're even. And if you win this, you're going to be ahead of us. So, but you're 44.
We'll jump ahead of you, but yeah.
The Dodgers are at 40-25, and then the Brewers are at 37-26. And in the playoffs wild card positioning, you have the Braves at 35-26, the Padres at 33-34, and then the Reds at 31-33. So very interesting in terms of the National League because it seems like it's very top heavy right now. You know, with the other wild card teams in position, they're in a sense they're under 500. Those bum Mets are at 27-35. Thank you. And yes, there is a debate, or there are the comments that they're the worst team in baseball.
Yes.
So they're
pretty bad. They're pretty bad, man. They are.
For having a billionaire and multi-billionaire with all that money and willing to spend all that money, and now you're talking about going after Soto, and we'll see come after the season. But if it goes the way it's going, I'm not worrying about losing them. I'm sorry, I'm not to the Mets, to the Mets. I would not worry about it. So, but talk about your respective teams. Start with you, Randy, about your Toronto Raptors. I mean, I know you said that it's you guys are what 30-33. What do you think they have to do at least to get into wild card contention?
I think they need to fire John Schneider, our head coach. I honestly think the guy's worth no more than a fucking bag of Lay's potato chips. The guy does not know. Last year we were in the playoffs. You had basically arguably your best pitcher in Jose Barrios keeping the Twins out of it. Their bats were going nowhere. The second you took the guy out of the game, which was in the 5th fucking inning, and you wanted to go to your goddamn bullpen, which we hadn't been able to rely on, and then boom, we shit the game away, and the rest is all history, and we lose the series. This year, everybody's expecting a quote unquote bounce back. Our pitching was good last year, but our batting, our bats were a little bit better. This year, our pitching has regressed a heck of a lot, and our bats are, if not cold, barely even lukewarm. Our team is hitting, we're dog shit. We're two games first innings away from setting an MLB record for the Boston. I can't even remember what the name of the team was, but it wasn't the Red Sox. It was like a 1932 Boston team that had gone hitless and hadn't scored a run in the first inning in the season. We're at almost 39 games that we haven't scored a run in the first inning.
Wow.
So that's a glaring stat. Our bullpen is blah. Our starting pitchers, we just announced that Alek Manoah is going to be shut down for the season. He is having his I believe his elbow surgically repaired. It's not Tommy John, but they're saying it's going to be treated like Tommy John. And one of the kids that was brought up to actually probably start this Blue Jays maybe going to the World Series when we brought up Bo Bichette, Vladdy Jr., and Kevin Biggio. Kevin Biggio was DFA'd yesterday, so he is no longer part of the team. He's going to go down to the minors if nobody picks him up. And we brought up another bat, Spencer Horowitz. So we're going to see if maybe that ignites the team. If not, Turner, the offseason acquisition, he's been cold as ice. It's just like the bats haven't woke up. So we need a shakeup, and I think the head coach needs to go.
So if the head coach goes, you think that could help you get into the wild card positioning, or I think let him go? Go ahead.
I think it would scare some players and being like, wow, okay, if they're able to cut John Schneider after they just agreed to a 2-year extension, literally just in the summer, that shows that that no one's untouchable, and that, maybe if this doesn't work out, maybe there might be a shot at, the team might want to send off a star to recoup some assets back so they can start retooling for the future, because there's a lot of rumors that the Blue Jays might either trade Bo Bichette or Vladdy Jr. if this doesn't turn around fast enough, because we got a pretty high payroll and we're not doing well at all. So
yeah, oh, wow. I did hear that you guys were talking about trading a lot of your guys. Like you're ready to, you're just sellers already. And I was like, well, like that's when I was talking to you behind thing. I'm like, how is your freaking closer doing? I went because I need a closer, and so now I'm looking for the Phillies. Like, who's on the market as a closer? Because I really think the Phillies need a closer, and I'm like, and then you tell me he's out for the year, he's done. I'm like, you're losing everybody fast. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, in terms of what's going on, and usually I'm expecting a lot from the Blue Jays. It's usually the Blue Jays and the Rays, who I kind of expect a little bit more. But the way things are going in the division, yeah, you're right. The Blue Jays are bringing up the rear in terms of the division. So it looks like it's a tough one right now, but I mean, it's not like you're totally out of it. It's still early, so things can change as we go along. But again, I mean, I feel you where you're going in reference to that. So,
and I want to say really quick for those wondering, if you fire John Schneider, who you going to use to replace? I think Don Mattingly right now was brought on not only just to be somebody in his ear, but somebody that would probably take over. So it would be Don Mattingly.
The Mags is my all-time favorite Yankee, to be honest with you, man. I just love Don, man. I love this game. I hated that, injuries cut his career short. I was hoping that he would be there, or he could have been there when we did win that World Series, so he could have that World Series ring. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that hurts him in terms of the Hall of Fame considerations. Because to me, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So, and
a lot of New Yorkers would stand up with you on that as well.
And one of my greatest memories of Don Mattingly, it's actually not a baseball play. there was a foul ball that went over to the side, and he went over there looking like they always do. And there was a little kid sitting there looking back at the ball up in the stands, and he reached in and pulled out a popcorn and just ate it. And the kid turned around and he's standing right there. And there he is, eating his popcorn before he goes back on the field. So
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was one of my greatest memories from Madden League. Because as a kid, you was wow, he ate popcorn from me. So yeah. So,
I remember that one. His toes of my popcorn. He's like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
But all right, halftime. Talk to me about the Phillies. Let's get a little rundown on the Phillies.
Their Phillies are on fire. Like this is unheard of what the Phillies are doing. So I'm not used to this type of thing. This is only the third time in Phillies history that they've been on this kind of a winning streak. They never got before 60 games. They never got the 40 wins first.
True.
So, and this is just what's happening right now. Look at, Ranger Suarez is on fire. I mean, he has to wait till he gets paid. He didn't even get paid yet. They're going to have to give him like $200 million. He's going to get friggin' a ton of money. So now the Phillies have like 3 outstanding pitchers. You know what I mean? They got good pitchers. The only problem I got with the Phillies is the bullpen. But, I always think they need a closer. And I'm very high on that. But that's old school me. Like, I don't think you should do it by committee. But the committee's working?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So you can't complain about nothing. Ranger Suarez is awesome right now. Everybody's on point.
He's 9-1.
Yeah, he's 9-1. Like, how can you complain about anything that's happening right now with the Phillies? I mean, we have our shortstop out, and that we're paying tons of money. And here's our backup, and he is on fire. Right now he's the best backup in Major League Baseball. He is pulling out numbers left and right, and I was against him. Of course,
Trey Turner's out.
Yeah, Trey Turner's out. He's been out for like over a month. So Turner's been out, and you got Soto over there just friggin' hitting the friggin' cover right off the ball. I mean, he is on fire, and nobody thought he was going to be like this, and but he is just lighting it up. Merrifield right now just hit a home run to get us over to friggin' the 6-2 now, but I mean, like, Merrifield hasn't been doing them, but he's over here popping home runs in London. Well, he needs to stay in London because that's like he only has like 3 home runs in the whole year. You know what I mean? Like, you can't complain about this team. It's unreal what the Phillies are doing. It's kind of like your Yankees, Coach. You guys are like, you can't pick nothing apart. Like, people are like, try to pick something apart about your team. How can I pick it apart when they got, 43 wins?
45. We're 45.
45, right, yeah, 45 wins. If they lose one, okay. They lost one. They're going to lose nice. One. But yeah, there's no complaints over here.
Yeah, I mean, last night with the Yankees. Nice. Yeah, last night with the Yankees was the first loss we had, I think, in the last 9 games or 8 games, something like that. So, and we lost to the Dodgers, and we lost in overtime in the 11th inning, 2-1. So, but I mean,
we lost to the fucking Oakland A's. Like, the people in the stands chanting, "Sell the team." We lost to them 2-1. Like, what the fuck? So, it shouldn't be like this.
Hey, yeah, we talked about that, Blaze.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And you're right. This is a no pause zone. So, when you come here, you won't hear that from us. So we're two old guys who, but we're not about that. So that's for all you youngins out there. So, but yeah, with the Yankees, I mean, they, other than last night, they've been on a tear. We just recently lost Soto, but Soto went out with elbow soreness. In the minor, I mean, at Double A, Garrett Cole pitched in Somerset. Literally, I used to live it's in Bridgewater technically, but I lived in Somerset, which was around about 10 minutes from my house. So, and I used to go to see games out there. And if I was out there, yeah, I would have probably been there trying to see Garrett Cole play. So, and he did well. So he's actually supposed to be pitching tomorrow. And that's the thing. Our number one, our ace is not here, and we're tops in the league. So imagine once you get him and he gets into a rhythm, it as a Yankees fan, it leaves you very encouraged. So you're like, okay, is this an opportunity for us to really make a push? I mean, you have what's his name, Gil, whatever. The kid is amazing as a pitcher. I saw him in his most recent game, and I'm just sitting here watching his stuff, and I'm saying to myself, wow, the way he moves, and he pitches like he's a veteran. So, I mean, you have the staff, guys who, you were worrying about, but they're out here producing. So, and that's the thing. They continue to step up game after game and gain confidence. I mean, killing it with home runs. Judge, will he surpass his record? That's the question right now I have for him. Will he surpass his home run record in the American League? Because he's doing a phenomenal job. And I think Soto helps him. I really think Soto helps him because he's starting to see some pitches. So, yes, he started out slowly, but look at what he's doing now. He's tearing it up. So, and then Juan Soto.
Too, Coach.
Yes, Stanton's in double digits in home runs. I do wish his batting average would be a little bit more, move up a little bit more. But when you go up and down the lineup, it's like, well, where is an easy out on the Yankees? And you don't have it. You don't have it. So,
inner squad play when the pitchers are batting.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, I agree with staying in London. Let's see, picks it up. Yeah. So, but again, it's ultimately I'm hoping for the perfect World Series for me would be the Phillies versus the Yankees, and then of course the Yankees winning. So I mean, I'm going to be honest. So that would be the ultimate for me. So, but just having those two teams there, it would be a heaven for me right now. So, but in terms of the standings, playoff standing, that's what I think it. That's one thing that I wanted to look at. We talked about the hottest teams, in terms of baseball. Halftime. Who do you think is one of the hottest players in baseball?
Hottest players. Judge is always on fire, so there's you just can't not mention him. But like for the Phillies, it's Bohm. Bohm is Mr. RBI. The dude's just Mr. RBI. Right now, his RBIs are crazy. And so I mean there's a lot of good hitters out there. I got to go with Judge, and then I would put Bohm in there. Okay. You got a lot of teams that have great hitting. I mean, even a team that's bad, they still got good hitters. I mean, they just are on a bad team.
Basically, and that's the thing. Sometimes when you're on a bad team. So, Randy, what about you? Who do you feel is one of the hottest players in baseball right now?
It sucks that I can't say any of the Blue Jays. But I gotta give a shout out to that kid in Kansas City, Bobby Witt Jr. He is playing himself on fire. He's got batting at 330 or 323 average. Just last year he kept everybody kept saying, "Oh, will he keep it up?" This year he just seems to be starting on fire. 11 home runs, 47 RBIs, and just tearing the skin off the back of the ball. So for me, it's going to be Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay. So, but I'm with halftime. It's Judge right now. If you want to say Soto's another one. I mean, yes, I'm a homer. Call me a homer. I'm talking about my Yankees, but
yeah, but you can't call yourself a homer when you're talking about Judge.
But no. That's why I said it. I'm a homer. A homer.
No matter what team you are, you're missing it.
You're missing it. Home run. It's a homer. Yeah. That's why I said I'm a homer. Yeah.
Doesn't he have like 20? What's he have? 22 or 21 home runs?
Check that. Yeah, he's.
Soto's got 17. Soto has 17.
No, Soto has 17. Judge has 21.
Judge has 21. Soto has 17.
Stanton has 15.
Harper has 15. I mean, like, Harper's like looking at his baseball bat right now, like, yo, we got to start hitting some balls.
That's why they're calling that three-headed monster in New York. They're calling it the Hydra. Because you got Stanton, Judge, and Soto. It's like pick your poison. And if they were smart to stagger one in between, it's like you said, okay, if you end up walking someone and those suckers get the walking in one, it's 2-0 already early. So it's
exactly so.
And that's what the Yankees have to do. The Yankees need to just get a batter that can get on first. And then you need the guys to get on base. This is a small ball.
Even if they just hit double.
Yeah. All right, here's my green guys that are on fire. So you put one, then put one, just a plain guy beside that one, and then have another home run guy, and just keep on going. You'll never stop them.
Blaze, I'm going to say this. I was watching this morning. I was watching the Sports Center Top 10, and there was I think it was the left fielder who made an amazing catch, a diving catch. So Pittsburgh, yeah, they have the ups and downs, but hey, they developed some nice young talent that can come to the Yankees and win championships. So I'm giving Pittsburgh their due respect, man, because hey, we got Garrett Cole. Where didn't he start at Pittsburgh? I'm just saying, man. So
Blaze, I'll let you know. I told Blaze, I'm like, you guys Pirates you guys are better than you guys think you are.
And McCutchen is having a hell of a season, and he's 39? It's like, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at, like, I see Vic in here, Blaze is in here, all you Pittsburgh Pirates fans. Yo, you guys really got to look at your team. Your team's on fire. Your team's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your owner's a problem, but you're a good team. Problem is, if you imagine if you had an owner like that will put players in there to go get guys, that actually go put money out. They don't want to put really that much money out. And that's the only issue you guys got. But your team is young and it's an awesome team. I like the Pirates.
No, I mean, I know I made the joke earlier, but yeah, they do a good job, especially at times getting the young core and developing. That I really meant. They do a good job in developing.
Right.
So it's really just being able to keep them. And I get being in a smaller market when you got going up against the Boston, the New York, the Philadelphias, the LA, Chicago, they can generate because the revenue because of the markets that they're in. So but yeah, you guys did a good job of eventually getting fire the owner, higher halftime. There you go. Fire the owner, higher halftime. Halftime, you will be the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Hire me, please. Hire me. I can fix the team. Hire me.
Anybody can fix the team.
I play MLB The Show on my Xbox. I can fix the team. Trust me. I can fix
it. I can do it.
All right. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next segment of the show, and
Uh-oh.
this one is going to be a little interesting. And where is it? I had the banner set for that. When in a relationship, what draws you to your love? Ooh. So, all right. So I'm gonna start out with the Playboy up there, right next to me. Halftime. What drew you to Mrs. Halftime in the beginning stages of your relationship? What is it? And it could be anything. It could be your looks, it could be personality, it could be money, but seriously, what is it that that drew you to your love?
I'm not allowed to say.
Huh?
I can't say. I plead the fifth.
What do you mean? Oh!
I'm gonna get myself in trouble. You do. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I'm not gonna lie. It was a rack.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Titties.
Hey.
It was titties. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Hey, you grew up sucking on them, whatever.
Honest with you, I was drunk at a party. She pulled up and she's upset because she just got. She said it just she goes. She just got, and she just found her boyfriend cheating, and I was the rebound guy. But
wow!
I'm over there like I was so drunk, and everybody's looking at me like, "Dude, you can't look at women like that." I'm like, "Watch this one." And I had a saying, and man, she thought I was the biggest asshole. And everybody was like, "Dude, he might have been with you, but you said that goddamn comment. Nobody's gonna be with you." The next day, she's on the phone calling me up. I'm like, that hook. No, I don't know if I can say my just comment. I said, everybody need. I told her, everybody. I said, every woman needs a little bit of halftime. In them, out them, around them, and sometimes on them. She thought I was the biggest jerk off in the world. Yeah, I'm an asshole. I know.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm coming to you, Randy. What about you? What drew you to your significant other?
Well, I told her I was going to be live and there would be some questions asked, and I told her that just stay away from this episode. Don't watch this episode. But fuck, I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
Listen, you can't get any worse than what I just did, Randy. I'll put it up there. Bars high.
I was new to town. I was new to this town, and for anybody who knows, I smoke marijuana, and I needed somebody to buy something from because I didn't have my new ID, so I couldn't go to a dispensary. And somebody told me, "Oh, there's this chick that deals, and she'll probably hook you up. If you're single, maybe hit on her a little bit." So I was like, "Okay, I'll hit on her." So I showed up, and next thing you know, we're in the back seat of her car, and next shift's pants around his ankles, and I got my weed.
There you go.
Okay.
And the rest was history. I was like, I like what happened, and here we go. We're gonna stay together.
Okay. Well,
and she didn't contest.
Well, I'm single right now, but I'm going to take it a different way because the love of my life, my first wife, the mother of my children, who gave me the 3 greatest gifts on earth. She's no longer with us. She passed away in our relationship. If she was here on this planet, she'd be right here with me. So, And actually, what drew me to her, and it's a funny story because I had my friends, and we, literally, I mean, you were 20 years old, 20-year-old guys, whatever, and it was four of us, and one of the guys, Craig, he met a female, and she had two other friends that she wanted to go out on a date, so they chose those three. I wasn't included. So, and she, the love of my life, she got hooked up with one of our friends. His name is Flash. And if you understand why his name is Flash, yeah, it is. At that time, he was like that. So, and when they went out, meeting her for the first time, he's all over her, hands all over the place. And she was not that type of a female. She wasn't. Right. So, and needless to say, it was a bad experience for all three of them, all six of them, technically. So, and it was going to ruin the other two's opportunity for another date. So they said, well, we have another guy, he plays college football, blah, blah, blah. So they set us two up on the phone, and she was literally fresh out of high school because I'm 2 years older. So she was 18. We're sitting on the phone talking, day after day after day after day. Literally, I would end up going to class after being on the phone with her all night, and she was going to school and then work and then come home, and we're back on the phone. We were like that for 2 whole weeks before we finally met, but we were in love from there. So, and we actually met, we were going to meet at the mall. And the funny thing is, I was there early, nervous as crap. So I'm sitting there in the parking lot. I had a basketball in my trunk, so I'm dribbling, have no skills, bobbling the ball all over the place, trying to get it through my legs. Lo and behold, they all come around. And they're at the door, and they're seeing me right up there, and they're like, "There he is." So, and then they yell for me, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. We got the girls over there. You look stupid in the middle of the street, playing basketball by yourself. I'm like, I'm nervous. So, and why did she feel it was so cute? She's like, I'm a big football guy, but I have no basketball skills. I'm bumbling all over the place, whatever. And she said it just humanized me to her. So, that was the thing. And then we were together for 15 years before she passed. So it was just, that's what, and what drew me to her was just her personality and the way she would talk to me. I mean, and she's the only female to this day check. And when I met her, I was 285. She was 95 pounds, but she's the one that could put me in check, really put me in check. Other females, you ain't putting me in check. I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do, but her, yeah. And the thing is, that's when she's the one. So that's what drew me to her. It was her personality and us talking for hours on the phone, just laughing. Oh, and the other thing is, my birthday is 6 days before her in February, so we were like, oh. Plus, our birthdays are literally right there, so we were like, we're the perfect match. So, yeah, she was my, as I like to say, she was my rib. She would protect my heart, and she would be my strength. So, she was definitely the one for me. So, but halftime. How long have you been with your wife?
Get me in trouble. Hold on, right? I got a tattoo. I got a tattoo, so it's 23 years.
Smart. I like that. Get the tattoo. So yeah,
like 23 years.
What about you?
Sorry.
What about you, Randy?
This is 9 years going on 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was with her from 87 to 2002 when she passed away. So and if she was here, our oldest daughter is 30, and she was born in 88, so she's 35 going on 36. So wow. That's how long she and I would have been together. So it was a great thing. So
21. Oh wait, 2004. Never mind. 21 years.
Ooh, okay. You get yourself in trouble, right? Because you can't add. Because you can't add. No, all you got to say is, "I just can't add. I can't add." That's it. That's it. I'm not good at math, you know.
I forgot.
Just say you're adding.
I just forgot it was 2024.
Just say you're adding 2 years for interest.
Might not last that long. Probably after this one, I'm probably getting divorced.
All right, so halftime. What do you do to keep things going in your relationship with your wife?
Ooh. We're just like, me and my wife are so tight that, and like I always say, she has to, your love of your life better be your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, through thick and thin, she's there. Your best friend is going to be your wife. Or if you're a woman, it's going to be your husband. Whatever it is. You got to be your compatible. That's your best friend. So, like, me and her, he likes different movies than I do. But we do have, like, we joke around and all. And we'll go out to eat. We haven't really been doing it lately. But we need to. Just to have me and her time. But when you have 2 kids, it's very hard. And when I work so many hours. But your best friend better be your wife or your husband or whatever. You make sure that person is your best friend. Because guess what? The guy that you think is your best friend, he's not your best friend. It's going to be your wife. She's there through thick and thin. She knows I walked through hell, and she knows all the trouble I've been in. She knows all the trouble I did. I mean, like, she knows everything about me. And that's the coolest part. Like, and that's what you all people need to learn. Your best friend is your wife or whatever.
Back.
But I mean, so me and her need, like, we always, your best friends. I mean, it is so cool that she's always there. So we always got our jokes, and like, I'll get off this stream and we'll sit there and joke about what was said and all that. But it's like everything. He'll be watching TikToks and send me something that, hey, yo, you were freaking out about work, and here's a TikTok about a guy that hates work, like hate people at work or something stupid, and we just start joking around. You always just got to joke a lot. Laugh. You got to make her laugh. You got to always, you know what I mean? She's your best friend. You all want to make sure you're going to still be with the same woman forever and ever and ever, or the same husband forever and ever and ever. Make her your best friend, make him your best friend, and that's how you're going to do it.
What about you, Randy? What do you do to keep things going with your significant other?
My humor. The fact that, I don't know if you guys have, or if anybody hasn't already, go check out my my TikTok videos, my early TikTok videos of me just being a goofball. It embodies what she doesn't have, and she embodies what I don't have. So she embodies. I'm not saying she's not funny, but I take it to like another level where she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that," but she's like laughing, dying, crying. But she brings like a human aspect to the relationship that I'm not saying that I don't have it, but she has the ability to see it from both sides, where I'm more of a, I guess you would kind of want to call it a blinded horse, where I only kind of see it straight, and she kind of like sees it from both angles and then kind of like gives her perspective. And that's why I like to bounce things off of her, because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. What do you think? And then she'd be like, about this, and I'm like, holy shit, you're right. Yeah, all right, okay, yeah, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, here we go, champ. Let's do this on 3, okay? And like, we just have like, we have a quirky handshake that we do. Like, when she comes home from work, or if I come home from work, I'll dap her up. We'll slap dap. We go bap 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 bap, and then we go like that. That's like our
See,
little
there you
so
go.
just little things like that. So you know, we've had our tough times, and we find our way through the dark tunnels. You know, you're gonna have your good, you're gonna have your bad, but like Halftime said, when you got your best friend with you, what more could you ask for?
You know, you're so right when you talk about that, because that's the challenge in relationships. You know, what do you do to keep things going, especially in the tough moments? And you know, I've experienced it in so many aspects. And you know, that's the one thing about Cap. First and foremost, you talk about friendship. I mean, she was in love with me, and I was in love with her. You know, and I made my mistakes in life. You know, and but the thing about it is, she was always in my corner, you know, because I mean, when we first were together and we had our oldest daughter, and you know, I lived in another town, but I mean, literally, I was 10 minutes away from her. But you know, I was living with my mother, and my mother was going to move to New York. And being that my mother was going to move to New York, I had a choice, you know, find some place in Jersey to live or go out to Brooklyn. And she didn't want that. She talked to her parents, and I moved in with her parents, and that was it from there. She had my back, always had my back. If I was struggling with money, she would give me money if she had it. If I had money, I would give her money no matter what. It didn't matter, especially when we had our kids. So, you know, and yes, always finding things. Like one of the things that we did, you know, she was a big movie buff going to the movies. I wasn't. But the thing we always did was we always ate. For a little girl, that girl ate. Every Friday back then, it was we always went to Pizza Hut and got two large meat lovers, and we would kill it. We would kill it, and we would sit and watch. We would watch a TV show, movies, whatever. And one of our favorite shows to watch together, even if she was upstairs and I was downstairs, and we both had it on, was A Different World. I mean, there were times where you
Oh,
know,
Different World was a shit.
yes, she the if anybody ever saw it, the wedding scene, she's screaming and she's like, Eddie, did you see that? Did you see that? They finally got together. And I'm like, yeah, babe, I see it. I see it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's the thing. We didn't even have to sit to it, but we were still watching it together. And that's the thing that it is. So that in terms of relationships, that's you know some of the things that you should do, or hopefully you can do in terms of you know keeping your relationships alive. So but real quick before we go on, everyone, make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to all three of us. Philly Halftime, Next Shift Randy, Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports. The information is in the description. Make sure you hit when you subscribe, you hit the notification so you know, and share on all your social media platforms. And for those of you who don't know, yes, we do talk sports, but we talk about life, love, all different aspects. That's the thing about this show and this program that's going to be, you know, a little bit different from others, because you're going to be dealing with Philly Halftime and me. We're two old farts, you know, and we're going to bring you our perspective in life. And, you know, if it helps someone, great. But you know what? Some of you guys may give us information or give us things that may help us in our lives too, because that's what it's about. This is about more, not just sports, but it's about family. So, but you know, I appreciate everyone being here. So thanks a lot. So I'm going to go on to the next question. And Randy, I know you're not there as yet, but it's about kids. How do you balance family life and romance when you have kids?
Well, somebody please tell me, because it is so hard. It is not easy, man. It is not easy. I mean, like, I have a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have time to. We can go to the bedroom and just want to have a grown-up talk.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the little ones barging in, slam, kick the door open, like, what are you doing? And all we're doing is talking, but we're trying to talk adults. But, you know, we're tired of seeing the little kids So you're always talking little kids. Now, my daughter's, she's learning sign language. And I'm like, man, give me a minute. I mean, I'm fast. I can be fast, I think. But I ain't that fast. They don't give you 10 seconds. I mean, it is rough. It is rough. And all you want to do is like just have a grown-up conversation. They don't give you time for that. So, Randy, you might not have no kids, but it's going to be very difficult. You will lose your mind.
I in my head, I have this picture. I don't know why, but don't mind me, Miss Halftime. But I have this picture of Mr. Halftime as the bedroom door closes. He's got his hands already on your chest, and the kid's barking. He's like, I'm just talking to your mom. Leave me alone for a minute.
See, when we were together,
you want to know, Randy? I'm gonna tell you right now. She's laughing her ass off you. That is so true. Randy, she's like laughing. She goes, "That is so true."
I do it. I do it.
Well,
I'm like this. Give me.
Honk, 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 honk.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yo, man, I'm just a girl trying to get a nut.
Here you go. Halftime. Here you go.
They will not let me.
See, here's one thing that we used to do, and sometimes we were tired, but honestly, if we knew we wanted to do that, we'd take the kids on. One of us would take the kids out, or the other one, and try and wear them out, get them so tired that when you come home, you give them a shower. Usually, our kids back then, they were out by 9 o'clock, and it was like, yeah, now it's our time. It's either that, and my parents. My parents and my uncles. Different time, different era. So please don't kill us. But they used to give us a little taste, a little shot. Yep. Give you a little brandy or whatever.
Yeah, listen. When you had food, what they give you? They gave you whiskey. Put it on your gums.
Exactly, and
that didn't hurt nothing.
That's what we used to do back in the late 60s, early 70s. My dad used to say, knock your ass out, and me and your mother, we would, handle our adult business. So, but yeah, I'm not advocating for anyone to do that nowadays. Please do not take it as Coach Ed is telling us to give kids liquor nowadays. I'm just telling you, different time, different era. My suggestion is, if you can, go wear your kids out, take them to the park, get them in activities, get them tired physically. Then you come home, give them a nice, good, warm to, fairly hot, slightly hot shower so their body can relax, get them all dressed up in their pajamas, and then go off to bed. And next thing you know, you're going to be hearing the snoring, and you'll be like, yeah, baby, it's on. It's on. Now let's us get our adult beverages and get going. So, but that's something that I used to do, and I appreciate what you said that you do in terms of the romance with your wife there. So, Randy, if you did have kids, what do you think you would do?
Oh, fudge. I don't know, man. We already have a hard time with our cats. Like,
you worry about your cats? Yeah, that ain't done.
Not to get into complete context of what was going on, but Lucifer came in one time, and I didn't know where she was, and me and Mrs. Next Shift were adulting, and the cat decided to sniff somewheres, and I wasn't too keen on where she was sniffing. So I and then if we close the door, they sit there and scratch at the door like they're being murdered out here. So it's like I like, hi kitty, hi. Like it's like it's just not gonna work. But yeah, if I was a dad, I would definitely like you guys say, I would even get like a trampoline even too, coach, and like let your kids do some gymnastics type thing too, but like take them to a local park if you can't afford a trampoline. And I remember growing up all the time playing at the park and having just a hail of a time. So, and then if possible, even take them to like a park that's a little bit further than your house. So like on the way back, that could even exhaust them out a bit. But
car rides,
yeah, exactly that too. Yeah, I remember when my mom and dad, and trust me, I remember when mom and dad were adulting, because I knew exactly what they were trying to get at. Like,
when your mom and dad was adulting, you weren't allowed in that room. You'd be like, they're like, you get out of here, I'll hit you with something. I will bust you up. Back in the day.
See, I would use it to my advantage though, because when I knew that they wanted to do that, I would be like, "Hey, can I go outside and play?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, go do whatever you want." I'm like, "Okay, take my bike. I'll see you later." And I just take my bike and go off and just ride for hours. Just ride for hours.
You see, there you go. The physical activities definitely help when it comes to the kids. So, and especially if you want to have a good romantic life, and don't. One thing I will say is, all right, all jokes aside, because someone said it earlier, you have to send the kids off to families' houses for a couple of hours for fun. And to be honest with you, if you have a good family support system, that's a great thing to have, because you do want to continue to date your significant other, because that's important. Look, what got you there? Yes, you're going to have kids, you're going to have to deal with life, but you can't forget what got you there. You have to maintain it, because sometimes that's what's, excuse me, that's what's lost, or that's what loses a lot of relationships, and which leads me to my next question. Do you feel true love has been lost or is being lost nowadays? I mean, I'm going to start with you, Randy. What do you think it is?
Yeah, I think a lot now has become hookup culture. I think a lot of people really now just care about like the moment versus like the long term. And what I mean by that is like people aren't willing to stick through the tough times. When times get tough, they're just like, you know what? It's not for me, bounce. And then they just go on to the next one. I've heard so many stories since I've been with Mrs. Next Shift of women and men finding different relationships. Ironically, they're one of Mrs. Next Shift's friends. Since we've been together, and which is 9 years, she was with 5 guys before she finally found the one that now has 2 children with. So it's like, it just goes to show you that like there is like a hookup culture in a sense that like if it's just not working for me, then maybe I'll just go find something that does work for me for that time being. So for me, I do feel like love is kind of lost a little bit.
What about you, Halftime? Do you feel it's lost?
I do. Like I say, if you got to make your your wife or your or your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever you are, if you're not being best friends and you don't take that, like if you think your friend's more important than the girl or the boy that you're with, then that's where you guys are wrong. And I don't see that no more. I don't see as much. People are always, hey, that's why there's a lot of divorces. You know what I mean? They're not seeing eye to eye. And some people want to go out. And they're like, the girl wants to go out with her girlfriends. And the girl or the boy wants to go out with his boys. Yeah, it's okay to do that once in a while. But your right hand is beside you all the time. You know what I mean? And that's what they need to do. What you need to know. Because they'll be there through good times, bad times, rich or poor. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You're and that's where you got to figure this out.
Now, you guys made some excellent points in terms of, love, and in today's society, it seems like it's being lost. Where, honestly, I've been single for a while. Some of it I could attribute to my current situation. Hey, some women can't handle a sexy, fat, disabled guy like me, and I get it. But and it takes a special type of woman to deal with me. It really does. That's why I always say, Cappy, if she was here, she would be right by my side. And It's just the little things, and sometimes just a simple conversation. You know, hey babe, how was your day today? Tell me what happened at work. Just something as simple as that. You don't understand how it can make the other person feel in terms of a relationship, and that's sometimes I wonder is if it's being lost. Now, look, I've been out of the dating scene for a while now since my last relationship, and I'm like, you know what? Right now, I'm cool being single because it's gonna sound corny, but hey, I'm dating me. You know, I mean, if I find a female I want to go out and hang out with, hey, you know, look, I'm single, I'm fine. If we fall in love, we fall in love, but I'm not purposefully, in a sense, looking for a wife right now. You know, hey, you know, I love being single. You know, I love flirting. Hey, you guys have seen me. You know, some of the things that I, you know, talk about, and hey, you know, some women can't handle it, and I understand that, and that's perfectly fine. But you know, if I end up getting in a relationship, you would see a different Coach Ed. You wouldn't see that. You would see a more respectful Coach Ed. You know, not saying I'm disrespecting women as a whole, but what I'm saying is I'm going to respect my relationship that I'm in, and that's what I think is, in a sense, to you guys' point, is missing. It's the respect. You know, it's respect and trust. You know, I live by a saying, and any female who ever, you know, knows me will tell you, you know, if I don't trust you, I don't fuck with you. You know, it's just that simple. You know, if my woman wants to go out with her girlfriends, I'm not worrying about, you know, her jumping in bed with someone else, because I'm going to feel confident because you know what, she's with me. I got her on lockdown. Y'all can try all you want. She gonna shut you down. You know how many times I used to walk down the street with my lady and guys would look, and you know what I would do? You know how most guys, what you looking at and all this and that? I simply turn around and say thank you. And you know how guys look stunned? Like, thank you for what? You're checking out my lady. Huh?
You know I got something good there.
Exactly. So, and you know, it's like, you know, now you, as a guy, what do you, now my chest is being pumped out. It's like, you know, all right, you know, and now what does that do for her? It makes her feel confident because now
it
she
makes her feel good that she's wanted. Yes.
Exactly. But she also feels better because her man trusts her and he feels good about her. And that's the thing. That's why I say trust and communication. Those are the things that, you know, I think, you know, in some relationships that are missing. Yes, you get the sex. I get it. We all get it. We grown folks here for them. I'm sorry. I hope there's no kids in there. I hope there are no kids in the chat, but this is a grown folk conversation, you know. And look,
well, too late on that one.
Yeah, but look, we all understand about the adult relationship aspects, and we all enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? You don't want to lose sight of that, but you also want to be respectful and have the trust. And you know what? I don't if I'm with you and I'm with you, that means I trust you. If I don't trust you, then I don't need to be with you. So let me get caught up in the chats for a second.
Yeah, there's a good one there.
Happy wife.
I totally agree with you, Coach. Like
Same.
The way that you explain it is like awesome.
Coach, can you go back to that quick?
Which one?
Sorry to cut you off halftime, but Damien, life is tough too, buddy. Like, you know, if you can get through the tough times with somebody, you come out stronger on the other side. And trust me, you do, because then the petty little things don't matter anymore, because then you know that those things don't bother.
Exactly. Damien, you won't give a damn what people think, as long as you got a good woman beside you.
Yeah.
You'll go through heaven. You'll go through heaven and hell for her. You'll realize that one day you will go and have the worst ever. And you'll be like, all right, I'm going to come out of this. And I'm going to fight for us. And you'll realize it, Damien.
Look what you were talking about last week when we were talking about, you were talking about your wife wants a pool, but you were considering it. You know, you said it's a big pool, but at least you're considering it. Most guys would have shut that down, or some guys would have shut that down. I don't want to talk about it. Get out of here with that. You ain't having it, whatever the case may be. number one, at least you have the conversation. Number two, you joke with it. But number three, at least it also shows, you know what, you're still considering it.
But that's what we do. We joke about it because it's, and then, but I put the reality in there, but I also joke about it.
Yes.
And one day we don't get me wrong, it probably will happen because she just puts her foot down and says, "Yo, it's time." You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, and that's the thing in terms of, relationships with your loved ones. Those are some of the things that, I felt like, it would be important for us to talk about, because hopefully it helps someone in here, and look, you guys are going to continue in the chat. You may put stuff in there that could help someone else. Don't be afraid to give your perspective in reference to that. That's why we did this channel, so we could have, we could joke around, we could talk sports, but yeah, we're going to have those moments because we're here to help each other, because this is about family. This is really what this is about. And I'm hopeful, and Halftime is hopeful that you guys take that from these conversations. So, but we're going to end that right there, and we're going to move on to the next phase of our talk.
I want to touch base on this one with Jerry.
Go ahead,
Jerry, you're not an easy person to get along with. Who is? Who is? Mm-hmm. Everybody has issues. They got issues. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You gonna have things that you have to work out, but you have to, and you'll find someone that you can, will understand you. But all right, say if you think it's always going to be your way or the highway, well, that's not going to be that's not the way to do it. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to give a little to get a little.
But that's the main point. That's the thing about a relationship. It's about, being able to compromise at those important moments, because like you said, yes, everyone is difficult. I have my moments. Trust me. My kids will tell you there are times when they're like, I can't stand you, daddy. And you know what? That's fine. There were times my mother will tell you there were times when, you know what? If you had to put something in my hand, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I probably would have done stuff to my dad because I did not understand what he was trying to do. But I'm 17 years old, but my dad was tough. I was tough to live with. But now, you progress on, you learn to live, you learn to adjust. And now as an adult, my dad and I sit down and talk about that. Cappy and I, when we were together, we would talk about everything. We didn't agree even on child rearing. There were certain things that, she didn't have to experience as a child growing up. And, I was different in terms of how to raise a child. But you know what? We sat and we talked about it. There were times that, she would say, all right, we're going to go your way. There were times I'm like, all right, babe, go ahead, do your thing, whatever. I'm just going to sit back. So no one, like Halftime has said, we're all difficult in terms of everything. To be honest with you, I don't want a girlfriend who's going to be yes in everything and going along with everything. I want somebody who's going to challenge me, because there may be times I may do something that's stupid. Even at 57 years old, it don't matter. I need to be checked. I don't know every daggone thing. There's not a daggone perfect person on this planet. But yeah, I feel you. So, and you know what, Adam Hurley, you said no wife, happy life. If that works for you, more power to you, brother. Yeah, go ahead with it. So, I mean, I don't begrudge you. I don't, look down upon you. Some people are just better being single. I'm like that right now. I'm happy being single right now. I'm not looking for a wife, but if someone comes along and I'm like, okay, she's it, then you know what? I'm just going to be like this. Click, click. Let's go, baby. You got me locked up. So, and again, to each their own. So, but again, if that works for you, more power to you. So, and you got anything?
I don't know why, Coach, when you said locked up, I got Akon in my head playing locked up, don't let me out.
Yep. Yeah, she got you locked up. She ain't gonna let you out, but yeah, no, seriously. to me, it's locked up is a good thing. So, hey, lock me up, baby. Whether it's metaphorically or it's physical, it's purposefully, real, in our adult,
that's a fun time to me.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, you want to lock me up, baby.
I love when you bring out the handcuffs.
Yeah. Hey, handcuffs among other things. Halftime. Don't go there. Don't go there. So,
we'll have to make this show R-rated next time.
All right, Lee. I feel you. There's nothing wrong with those relationships can sometimes be the best ones, man. Because hey, you're not with her, but when you get together, baby,
it's even better.
Yeah. So Lee, it's nothing but love, bro. It's nothing but love. But right now we're gonna transition on to the next phase, and we're gonna do a little bit of WNBA. If those know I love the W, and halftime and I were talking about it during this week. And we're gonna start with the controversy that started last weekend. And hopefully it's phasing out, but the Caitlin Clark, Kennedy Carter incident, and anyone who's heard me Tuesday, you heard me rant on it, but I've moved on. But you know what? It was a dirty play. Carter, for those you don't know, or if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, when Caitlin Clark got body checked and slammed to the ground, that's the incident we're talking about, and all the controversy that has led to racial issues and sexual orientation issues, or whatever the case may be. Number one, the play was dirty. Most of us who understand sports knows that was dirty. My thing is, everything else outside of it, to be honest with you, we need to back off. It's in between the white lines. The league handled and did what they needed to do. They upgraded it from a personal foul to a flagrant one that goes on her record, and it goes forward from there. Everything else, whether it's Stephen A versus Monica McNutt or whoever, bless you, brother.
Thank you.
It's what? It's basketball. It happens. If you played in the streets, sometimes we played, and it's like it got really rough and tough out there. And you've seen, back in the days with me and halftime in the 90s, we've seen some tough games, but in the end, you try to leave it in between the white lines. And that's what I'm hoping for. All this other stuff, they need to, chill out with it. We all do. Every last one of us, even me with my rants. You know what? That's why I said I've moved on. You know what? Clark is starting to do her thing. Had a great game last night, 30 some odd points. I think she hit 7 threes. So she's starting to feel, starting to get into a rhythm and starting to understand the game. But that play. Halftime. Give me your perspective, your thought.
So, like me and Coach, like we're talking about, I'm like, this has had to be talked about. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not big into women's basketball, but I was like, Coach, we need to talk about this because it's like going super big, and people are looking at it. I think, and now mine's going to be unpopular. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think people are going to like it, but it's all right. Yes, the girl just became into the women's basketball league, and stats are going through the roof. She is making something. She's making the women's basketball league more popular, and she's bringing everything out. But this is what I understand what the girl was doing when she gave the body check. Mm-hmm. She said, "Welcome to the women's NBA." It is just like if whoever came to the NBA and you're going to tell this guy he's the greatest, and you're not going to just give him his flowers, tell them to earn it. So she said, hey, all she did was give him a little reality and said, boom, here's a freaking check on you, put you on your ass. Welcome to women's basketball. That's it. You know, because everybody's saying you guys were nothing without her. And some girls got a chip on their shoulder over it. I understand that. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It could be basketball, football, hockey, soccer. It don't matter. Somebody's going to get put on their ass because if you're going to say you're the number one person in this league, I'm going to put you in check. I'm going to give you everything I got, and I'm going to put you on your ass. That's all she did. Did she get fined? Yep. I disagreed with her not wanting to talk to the media about it. I agree that they should fine her for not talking to the media. I agree all that. I mean, I don't agree about her attitude when she acts like she rolls her eyes thinking she don't like the girl. It don't matter. I got what she was doing. She just put that person in reality check and friggin', hey, I'm gonna knock her on her ass. She's not bigger than the friggin' sport. It's like basketball, coach. You know what I mean? If you're gonna sit there and say, hey, this kid's coming out of high school. He is gonna be the next Michael Jordan. You don't think these NBA players are gonna friggin' put him on his ass? They're gonna give him everything he got. It doesn't matter about football. You can be the next friggin' Joe Montana. You're not going to do it. They're going to put you on your ass. They are going to give you everything. They're going to give you cheap shots. They're going to give you everything they got. Was it a cheap shot? Hell yeah. But it was just a reality. Open up a reality on it. And that's what I didn't understand. Like, that's what the girls could have said. I was just welcoming her in the women's basketball league. That was a welcome. She's the best. Remember, everybody said she's the best. I just welcome her.
Here's the thing with Caitlin Clark. All right, there's one aspect where I get the jealousy aspect with some of the women in the sport. You know, look, if you've been following the sport, you know the average most sports fans do not follow. Just like you said, you really didn't. But now Caitlin Clark, what she's done, it's drawn interest. And I say there is that fine line that you have to, work through and understand, first of all, you want people to tune into your sport, whether coming to the games or watch it on TV, because that's also going to help increase your salaries. Whether you realize it or not, you're tied to her because the top salaries are like $260,000, $270,000. When you got guys in the NBA making $50 million, hello, ladies. Some of you have to understand if you're feeling jealous or whatever because she gets a shoe contract, $1 million shoe contract, and you're not, then you need to do something to up your brand. However, you got to figure it out. You have to up your brand. But as far as her, you want her to come in to bring people in because guess what that was going to do? Eyes are going to see her initially, but then now they might see you and become a fan of you. That might open up opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. That's going to grow the sport. So that's why it's like, you know what? There's that double-edged sword. You got to know how to work in between, and you want her to come in here and the rest of this rookie class. I understand what Angel Reese is saying when she said it's not just about Caitlin, it's about her too. It's about all of them. All of them coming into the sport and working together and building the sport up together. The veterans who have been here for years, you don't want to forget about those who have been there in the past. An old fart like me has been there since day one. I remember Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie jumping up doing the ceremonial tip. So I'm a true fan, and I'm going to be here. But now you want to bring in all the casuals and bring them in and get them engaged and get them engrossed and let them see the beauty of your sport. Because that's one of the things I always talk about. This sport is beautiful. It's a lot more fundamentally sound. Yeah, donuts. there's a lot more fundamentals being played because this is not a sport where they're high flyers and dunking all over the place. They have to be fundamentally sound. Even a simple bounce pass or a chest pass has to be fundamentally sound to be executed. And these women do that. And now you want to draw the fans in so they can see the beauty, and now it can grow. And now you can also gain money by the with TV contracts and fans. You're playing in front of sold out arenas. We're now going into expansion where we're having Golden State next year and Randy's area, Toronto, the year after that. So, and that's what you want, because now you're going to be up to 16 teams while the NBA is at 30. Think about that. This is still a business.
Yep.
We no matter how you want to break it down, it's about the business. And Caitlin Clark is business. Angel Reese is business. Camila Cardoza is business. Think about that. But now Sabrina Ionescu is business. Aja Wilson is business. This is it's all of you together understanding the business and working together. Rookies, they got to find their way. Like Halftime said, you're going to be welcome to the sport. Yes, you are. But you got to, do your thing, play your sport. And I commend Caitlin Clark. She's always said, nah, it's not a big issue. I'm just here to learn and get better. And that's it. But Randy, give me your take on this whole situation.
Yeah, you guys both made really good points. I myself find it was a dirty play. All the other extra stuff didn't need to be, and like you said with Monica McNutt and Stephen A. But I read a stat. I think it was this morning where it said that Caitlin Clark's game last night brought in almost 21,000 butts to seats. Like 21,000 people paid to go watch this game. Like when they show the average for a team in that area, when it's like down from like it's at 7,000 or 8,000 up to almost quadruple numbers, like that says that the Caitlin Clark effect is real. And I can get why some women do find it a bit, like slighted, because like you said, Coach, the WNBA has been around for a minute now, but now finally it's getting its notoriety. It does suck, but it's not like Caitlin Clark knew that she was going to be the golden child that was going to bring in the eyes. She was just a girl that wanted to play basketball, was playing for the Iowa the Hawkeyes, and she ended up becoming a star in front of us. Now she's starting to slowly play like it, but I would also like to give a shout out to Cameron Brink as well. I mean, like she's doing her thing, and just the other game there, Jimmy Butler showed up, was wearing one of her jerseys. So it's like now you've seen NBA players showing up and showing some support because the women have been doing it too, because they recognize the game as well. So it's like,
I got a question on that, Randy. Are these NBA players just showing up for the support, and like, are they being told to show up?
No, I don't think. If a player was told to show up, you'd see more players showing up. Sorry. But I think these guys are doing it in probably one because they maybe even share the same agent, and he's like, I'm gonna go show her some support because she's been at some of my games, which Cameron Brink has been to some Miami Heat games. So who knows? Maybe a little love interest there. Who knows? Maybe.
No, she has a boyfriend. Cameron Brink has a boyfriend. He's a volleyball player.
Well, he can fuck off and get Jimmy Butler.
Hey, that's a different story now.
Right, but I don't think they are halftime.
Okay. I just seen a little bit of stuff, so I just asked.
I just want to say this. I don't know if you're trolling and being funny, Donovan Machitas. Angel Reese is mid. The WNBA is trash. Lower the rims 2 feet so we can see some highlights that are worth watching. They lose $10 million a year. Done with the stupid league. You're entitled to your opinion, Donovan. You're done with the league. No problem. More power to you. Bye. See you. I don't want to see the league. I don't want to see the rims lowered. It's not mid. For me, it's not mid. As I said, I don't care just about 3-pointers and dunks. I care about the nice back screen, ball moving, Princeton cut, UCLA cuts, things of that nature, and you see these women shooting from deep now. So they're shooting deep 3-pointers, Steph Curry range if it's for some of them. Caitlin Clark is shooting from literally from half court, making these shots.
Logo.
Yes, they've been losing money because there aren't a lot of fans who, are following the game. But guess what? They're now starting to come in. Randy just sat there and told you the numbers. If and last night's game was between two lower echelon WNBA team. Washington has not won a game, and they're still coming out to support. So when you make that statement, you know what? I get it, but I'm here to tell you it's changing. Fans are coming out to see Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, Cameron Brink. Vegas is always selling out. New York is always selling out. So, some of the other teams, Seattle is starting to sell out with Skylar Diggins Smith. Love me some Skylar Diggins Smith. Have always loved her. Wish she was on the Liberty. And Nneka
Agumake?
Yeah, I can't say her name.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, so if you're not a fan of it, that's fine. You have every right not to be a fan of it, and anyone else, you have a right not to be a fan of it. But I'm saying that's not completely accurate, because right now this draft class is changing the narrative. And Damian, Caitlin Clark, you may feel that she's getting that type of treatment, but no. She's box office. It's just like LeBron James. I'm sorry, when LeBron James was coming out of high school and he was anointed, the next one, and fans were flocking to see him. That's what it is. People want to be entertained. You may feel like she's being treated like some type of god. Fans want to, if they're investing their time, their money, they want to be entertained. That's bottom line. That's what it is. And you know what? You may not see it that way, but that's really what it is. If you ask the average fan of any sport, they're going to tell you that's what it is. They want to be entertained for coming out to the games and spending their hard-earned money. So WNBA play better brand of basketball than. Yeah, they do play a better brand at times. Like I said, it's not about alley-oop dunks and all of that and just 3-pointers for the most part. Number two. Tobias Harris. Okay. Here we go. Angel Reese is mid, but whooped. Funny how Angel Reese is mid, but she whooped Angel Reese. Please explain to me how Angel.
It's still early in the morning.
Explain to me how Angel Reese could beat Angel Reese. You explain that to me. So and
he's just trolling. He's just trolling.
I can sell at a rec center too. Okay. That's your okay, fine. That's how you feel. But as a fan, I don't want to see the sport go away. I appreciate it and I love it. So, and I can find a whole lot of other fans who feel the same way as I do. So, but
also want to say shout out to my girl Alyssa Peely. Got in the game the other day there and put up some points. I like my girl's thick, and so shout out to my girl Alyssa Peely.
Well, I'm going to say this, Nick, and I know Blaze made the comment earlier that the Knicks are soft. Well, if the Knicks are soft, then does that mean the Sixers are like Carvel ice cream? Are they like that?
Shit. The baby shit.
Everybody in basketball is soft. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But I mean, listen.
Oh, he meant to say Caitlin Clark, not
I know what he meant. I know what he meant.
Oh.
That's why I wanted him to come back in here and clarify himself. What's up, Mellow Goated? So, but hey, you win some, you lose some. I mean, that's sport. That's the competition, and that's what you want. So, but hey,
I told him we had that conversation last week, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
About the Knicks. So
Caitlin Clark is not some type of, as you said, god. She is a box office player. People want to see her, and that's just the bottom line. If you don't want to see her, then don't go watch. It's just that simple. Listen. But I will say this. If you're sitting here debating and chatting about it, that says something about you, about the sport, because they're drawing you in. Because if If it wasn't to you, you wouldn't be talking about it. So,
Yep.
But like I said, you know, I will say this. Like I said, all she did was got welcome to the women's NBA.
exactly. No, that part.
That's
It was.
all it
was.
was. That's all it was. It's not as big as people are making this out to
No,
be.
it's not as big. It was a dirty play and that's where it should have stayed in between the white lines.
Right. It's a dirty play, but it was welcome to NBA. Welcome to women's NBA. It's like any other freaking sport. You wouldn't hear if LeBron James came out of college and he got put on his ass. You wouldn't hear nobody crying about anything, and you wouldn't. It's all different now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is.
Exactly.
You just got welcome to the women's NBA. So just drop that shit. I mean, it got out of hand. It really did get out of hand.
Here you go, halftime. If the Sixers signed halftime, revenue would skyrocket and the fans would buy back in. So there you go.
I wish I was that good.
So, and just like I forgot who said it earlier. We were talking. He mentioned about the Liberty. The Liberty won today. Connecticut was the last undefeated team, so they lost. It was also a Commissioner's Cup game. For those of you who don't understand, they play a certain amount of regular season games. They're like in-season tournaments, like in the NBA. Should I do it? In-season tournament, like mix. But the Commissioner Cup game, where you are allowed to, there's a certain amount of games within your division or your conference that you play, and then the winners of each conference play each other for the championship in season. That's where the Liberty won last year against Vegas, and Connecticut now has lost, and New York is undefeated in Commissioner Cup. They go tomorrow against Washington, and I believe if they win, they're going to win the Commissioner Cup series for the East. So they would end up getting to play whoever wins for the West. So, and hopefully they can defend their championship. So, but again, that game also was because I was keeping my eye on. I had it on. Now I have the football game on, but it was a great game. So glad the Liberty came back to win. And overall in the WNBA, I'm just loving it. I'm loving it, every aspect of it, the competition, the play. Last night I was up late watching. I watched Seattle last night go into Las Vegas and beat the Aces. They beat the Aces last night and I really wasn't expecting that. So, you know, and that's the beauty of the WNBA. I mean, the Suns now are at 9-1. The Liberty are at 10-2. The Lynx are at 7-3. The Storm are at 7-3. The Aces are at 5-3. The Dream are at 4-4. The Mercury are 5-6. The Sky are at 4-5. The Wings are at 3-6, which is a big surprise to me. The Spark are at 3-7. The Fever are at 3-9, and the Mystics are at 0-11. Now, yes, some of the top teams, you know, they're starting to distinguish themselves, you know, but again, you know, the Las Vegas Aces, they're the back-to-back champion, and they're in the 5th spot right now in the WNBA, and they have 3 losses. I wasn't expecting that. Exactly, Randy. I was not expecting that. So, need Liberty and Aces in the final again. Well, I think it's going to be it's going to be the 2 top teams. And right now, if it ends up being Connecticut and New York, first of all, I'm going to love it. Second of all, that means one of the 2 teams are going to get their first NBA championship. So, you know, and I'm going to be watching that. And those 2 teams are really starting to distinguish themselves. New York is starting to get on a roll, but Connecticut was started out hot, man. They started out 9-0. So let's see how they rebound. And the Lynx, do not sleep on the Lynx, man. I mean, you know, for Jokic Dovic, Diamond Miller, I watched her in junior high school when I was a substitute teacher at the middle school in Franklin Township. I watched her. I knew she was destined for the WNBA. I mean, you know, they got some ball players over there. So, and the Storm are starting to get into that rhythm, like I said, with Skylar Diggins-Smith, with NECA. I mean, you know, they have veterans along with young players over there. So it's going to be very interesting as we continue on over the next 3/3 of, because there's 40 games and they play pretty much 10 games. So most teams to play 10. The Liberty played 12. I think the Liberty played and the Fever had played the most. They both played 12 games. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting as we continue to. Also, it's going to be about who has the players. Is it going to be about anyone getting hurt? I mean, the Aces. I mean, right now they're without Chelsea Gray. She's their starting point guard. So as Nick said, it could be about the Aces earlier, the Aces and the Liberty. For the championship. Chelsea Gray hasn't played all year, so she's a big factor in what they do, and she can help them and change the whole dynamic. So, it's going to be interesting as we go ahead. Randy, you have something to add about that?
No, I was just gonna say too. Like a lot of people are wondering, like, why it's taking Caitlin Clark so long to like become the player that they thought she was in college. It's like anybody that comes to a new team, it takes a lot to like learn your other teammates' tendencies. You need to learn the game itself is completely different to her. So it's like anybody that's going to these new teams or that, like you just mentioned, that you thought, oh, that they got X amount losses that I didn't expect. It's like the new players, but also maybe like like now teams understand like what they're trying to do, so like you can better game plan for it. So now their surprise attack isn't so much a surprise anymore because now you've been able to draft proper for it. So now you're able to counter it. And now it's like, okay, now what are you going to do to checkmate me versus? So it's fun to watch.
Well, the other thing is, which most people don't factor into their thought process, and I understand why. In men's college, they get drafted and they have 6 months before they get into an an NBA camp. So they have the ability to work out and develop their bodies. In the women's, they go from literally 1 month. So she hasn't had the opportunity to work out and develop her body. If you look at her, she's slight of build, where you have other women who are, muscular, broad shoulders, and they've worked out. They know what it takes to build themselves up. Next year, let's take a look and see how, after a whole season, how she works out and how much better she is. It's like being a freshman in college to a senior in college. She did develop and she did grow. But again, I'm excited to watch this and watch her grow, watch the game continue to grow, and I hope to appreciate it, going forward. So, but real quick, before we close this out, halftime, what were your thoughts on Sabrina and Steph in the 3-point contest last year? Did you watch the All-Star game with them shooting?
I did watch that, and I did not like it because you're trying to put a man versus a woman, and you're trying to act like they are the same. And all women know and men know that men are different and all. But I get it. It's a 3-point shot. But it was very entertaining. I did like it, but it was very entertaining. But stop trying to put women and men and act like they're the same athletes. They're not,
They're different. They're different athletes.
It's just different. Like
but I will say
tennis.
this. I will say this because this is where you're going to get pushback on me about that. Even as a coach who coached in minor league semi-pro football, I've coached against women who played. So I get it. I understand what you're saying. Basketball to me is a little bit different than football. I'm not expecting a lot of women to play because the women I'm talking about, they play defensive back. So it's not like they're up in the trenches going up against another 350-pound man. It's different. Basketball is different where there's physical play, but there's more movement, freedom of movement as opposed to football. So yes. Now, yes, if you got a 5'11" female trying to guard a Giannis down to the Kupo, no. You better dominate her, physically as well as athletically. But still, if she can get screens and come off and get an open shot and get it up, that's where it's a little bit different. But I understand what you're saying in terms of the physical play. Men are bigger and stronger. I couldn't expect a woman to guard Shaq. There's no way in hell.
Then again, it's mentally too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not, and I'm not saying it's yes, it's the physical part, but it's the mental. Because a guy can get in her head and like You didn't mess her head up.
I will show you.
Women out there. There is women out there that will give it right back.
I know there's this one YouTuber. She goes around now. She's playing in rec leagues. It's not the NBA or the WNBA, but the men are saying some misogynistic thing that women can't play, and she goes out there and she balls her. She's breaking their ankles like crazy, and she's shooting from depth. She's driving on them, and then she turns around and looks at them, looks up and down, and the guys are like, "What? Nah, whatever." So but yes, to your point, yes, there are some women who, they can give it right back. But I get what you're saying in terms of the mind game. The mind game goes across the board. As a former player, bro, I used to play. Here's one of my biggest mind games that I would play with my opposition. When we go line up, I would pull a piece of grass and I would start chewing on it. And I would continue to chew grass and let it build up. And then I would treat it like chewing tobacco, and I would spit it right on the ground. Sometimes not at their hands, but close to it. And guess what I'm doing? I'm playing in their head, because now they're like, yo, is this dude crazy? Is he crazy? He's chewing grass? Is he literally chewing grass? Yeah, and it works. Mind games are a part of sports. I love it. So, but we could go on. We can go on about this, and I want to move on to the NBA now. And we're in the final sector. To answer this question, is he going to the Lakers? I don't know. I will say this: if the Lakers offer him that money, buy Dan Hurley. I mean, because in talks are like he might be getting anywhere from $15 to $20 million a year.
The bag.
I mean, he's a Jersey boy. He's an East Coast boy. But you know what? Being out there in LA, you might really love it, especially at those prices, man. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's 50-50. Connecticut really wants him. They're doing things to, at least give him
history too, Coach. Like what the three-peat since Waldron, or
Bill Walton and the coach, I forgot his name already. Damn it, I should know his name.
I just saw a quick clip of it, but I was like, like he's got something going there too, right? And like, what has he said to the boys? I'm sure he probably promised some of them, recruitment wise. So it's like,
but again, $20 million, who could fault
exactly
him,
money talks.
I mean, and if your wife, we were talking about wives earlier, your wife might love Jersey, but she'd be like,
wait, you talking about 20 million?
We moving to LA. We moving to LA. Exactly. 5 years, $20 million. Yo, bro, see you. I ain't mad at you. Come back and say hi from time to time, but
you got
so is he going? Now we want to talk about the finals, because we're in the closing stages, and that first game, Boston in Dallas. I don't think any of us saw a blowout to the way it played out, and I don't think most of us saw Kyrie Irving play the way he did. You would have at least thought he would have stepped up, and he's been there. So, and do I expect him to continue to play, like that? No, but and I'm going to get into what he said afterwards, his comments, but halftime, what's your thoughts on that game, the Dallas and the Boston game, game one?
Halftime, what is your thought?
I want to be honest with you. I thought the Mavericks really were going to I thought they were going to be awesome, and I thought they were going to just destroy Boston. But now after watching that, I was like, wait a minute, this might be a game. It might go the other way. Boston, because if Boston don't win, I think Boston should have blew up their team. But the way they've been playing, a lot of people can say, "Oh, Boston didn't play nobody all year," like they've been saying. But you know what? They've been playing. They're playing strong. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't think that they were going to actually be this dominant. They were pretty. That was pretty outstanding what they were doing.
Yeah, and they're aggressive too.
Yeah, but they're fully loaded though, even off the bench. They're just fully loaded.
What about you, Randy?
Remarkable.
What about you, Randy? What was your thoughts about that game?
I'm not just gonna sit here and shit on the Mavericks because they did miss they missed a fair amount of open shots. Like a lot of guys did have like some shots, but a stat that did stand out to me after the game was that Kyrie is now 0-11 versus the Celtics since he left. So he hasn't won a game versus them. So is there maybe a mental factor, even though he did sage the Boston center? But I don't know. Maybe Boston just has his number. How sometimes when you play a player just has your number against your team, you're like, what the hell? He's so good against my team, but not anybody else. Well, this might be the factor for Boston. And quickly on Porzingis, man, like the effect he had right away, like. Guy hadn't played basically since the first round. Comes out, he's dapping everybody up like he's the queen. He's like, hey, what's going on? He's feeling himself. And he comes out there and he's blocking shots. He's running back. He's playing defense. He's hitting threes. Like, if they can't stop him and limit what Jaylen Brown does low post when they try to get down low, because it seemed like he was like, you guys want to snub me? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you what all pro defender I am. And he's been playing out of his mind this whole playoffs, but he showed up in game one as well. So if that continues, this might be a short series. Sorry.
And that's
too,
what,
right? Is there a
no,
game
it's
tonight?
tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
No, I think the hockey game is tonight, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Porzingis was key. I mean, the way he came out, and I mean, it's like he, especially from three, it just seemed like he couldn't miss, and the block shots. I mean, yes, he was a major player. Now, second half, he didn't play like he did in the first half in terms of scoring, but he was still a factor. But then again, you had Brown and you had Tatum, stepping up, and the rest of the team. I mean, that's the thing. They play as a team. They really do. I've said that I think that Jaylen Brown is the best player on that team, but Tatum steps up and he'll play. So it's like they pass the torch. It's like, it's like, in a sense, the old, we'll pass the, pass it around. So you take a hit now, I'll take a hit. Porzingis, you take a hit. Derek White, you take a hit. So it's like, Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew Holiday, I think, I think he contributed into giving Kyrie a difficult time, in that game. So, Mitch, here goes Mitch. Boston Celtics on San Francisco 40. Well, I will say this, Mitch, if they win the championship, you can't say that anymore. That's what I'm going to say. So game 2 is going to tell us a lot. But yeah, Porzingis, big factor. His length, Dallas doesn't have, and I think that I don't want to say intimidated, but it played a role in affecting Lively. Because Lively was not like he normally was. I mean, it was it him or I forgot who it was. He went up for a Brown. One of them went up for a block. I mean, a dunk. And was it Porzingis?
Jaylen Brown blocked it.
Jaylen Brown. Thank you. Brown blocked it. And
he got up.
Exactly. And it just seemed like Dallas did not have it after that. They were just like, we can't even get dunks. Whether it's the only person who was hitting was Luka. That was it.
Yeah.
Everyone else. And I'm just going to say, if Dallas does not get game 2, I'm sorry. To me, the series is over with. It might end up being a complete sweep or a gentleman's sweep. And Dallas in 5. Now not Dallas, Boston in 5. I said Boston in 6. But now it's like, I'm like questioning, is it going to be a 5 game? Is it going to be 5 games?
And I said the Mavericks in 6.
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
The way that Boston played, man, it was like, and I think like I said, if Boston don't win a chip, I think they should blow that team up. But the way they played in their first game, it might turn around. Gonna be interesting.
Are they in? We talked about being in someone's head. Is Boston in? Because you talked about Kyrie. That's a great stat, Randy. I didn't know that. 0-11. 0-11. Can they be now? Can they get? That's something that could get into a player's head.
But do they know something about that? Like they know his mindset because he played there.
Yeah, he played at Boston.
They know exactly how he processes things.
Yes. Brad Stevens knows him very well from his time there. So, he can pass information down and, this can help. And I think Tatum and Brown were there with him too. They were young, but I think they were there too, right, Randy?
I want to say like maybe when they were like really young. Yeah, just drafted.
Yeah, no, just drafted. So, but they all should know him and know his game. So, and then of course the Boston fans, they're going to get after him, especially after his most recent comments. For those who don't know, he says after the game that he spoke about the game and everything, but then adds in, but I thought it was going to be louder than that. Bro. Are you trying to get the fans riled up? Shut up. Shut up. If you feel that they weren't that loud and they didn't affect you, don't give them the fuel to come at you. Because now guess what Boston fans are really going to do? And now that's going to also possibly affect your teammates.
Yeah.
If I'm Jason Kidd, I'm probably going to be looking at him, Kyrie, what the hell are you doing? Shut up. So I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Randy?
Yeah, again, Kyrie is a vet in the league now at this point, he's the older guy, but it's like, again, here's another Kyrie moment where it's like, he kind of talks out of character, talks out of hand, I should say, and makes a comment like that. Cause like you said, like, yeah, okay, you might be okay if it's really loud in there or whatnot, but how do you know PJ Washington is? How do you know Lively can? How do you know Gafford might? Maybe certain players at certain moments, they crumble when it gets like this, when they've never been there. You've been there. So it's like, like you said, at certain points, you should have just ate your words and let it move on. Next question. So it's like, not a good look.
What about you, Halftime? What's your thoughts on Kyrie's comments?
Why is it that there's always an athlete that always tries to put the fans involved? Like, it don't matter what sport it is. They always are like, oh, you're not loud enough. Well, then when it's too loud, you know what they're going to say? Oh, they were too loud for us. And then they make excuses. Like, you're causing this, you dumbass. You're asking for it. Boston fans are loud. They're obnoxious. They can put the asshole in there. You want the asshole to come out there? Yeah, they can give you it.
Yeah, I like that. They can put the asshole.
You can't. You're not ready.
Exactly.
But it's not just Boston. If you go to Philadelphia and you say that, if you go anywhere, they're going to sit there and they're going to give you more. You want more? And then you're going to make an excuse. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Why they throw popcorn at me or why they throw a drink at me? Well, you started it. They're just going to finish it. Don't start something you can't finish.
True.
Just don't start something you don't finish. That's how it has to be.
Well, with the game coming up tomorrow night in Boston, what's your prediction? Halftime. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win that game? I
think Dallas is going to win. Maverick. I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be 1-1.
Who do you think? Go ahead.
I think they're just going to win. It's going to be a close one. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a real close game. It's probably going to be I want to say 5 to 6 point game. It's going to be like a buzzer beater or something. It's going to be real close to me.
Who would you say is going to be your X factor in that game?
What's it? What's his name? The Joker? Is that who it is? What is his name? I don't know.
Oh no, Luka.
Luka. That's it. I think he's going to be. I can't remember names. I'm not good with names.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That Luka. He's going to be it because that's the go-to guy. He's going to put the team on his back, and that's where it's going to go to.
Okay. What about you, Randy?
I know people that nickname people the Joker and all. I just don't know their names.
No,
My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
You're
Everybody
good.
can just freaking trash me all you want.
Yeah. What about you, Randy? Who do you think wins tomorrow, and who is your X factor?
Well, I'm gonna say Dallas needs a Porzingis block on Josh Green moment in order to kind of slap Boston in the mouth. And by that I mean they need to like come out and show out and play some hard-nosed defense. Maybe at certain times don't switch and just stick on your man and try to muck up their defense as well a little bit. I like halftime. I'm going to have Dallas evening this series up. I feel like it's going to be extremely close, but my X factor is going to be Tim Hardaway Jr. Or senior, or is it junior or senior?
No, it's junior. It's junior.
Junior. I think they need his 3-point shooting off the bench.
Okay. Interesting. See, I'm going with Boston, but my X factor is going to be White. I think that he's going to really step up, and he's, Dallas is going to focus on the big three in a sense. They're going to try and take them out as much as they can. They're going to try and get physical with Porzingis whenever he's in there, and that's where White is going to be able to step up, and he's going to show. He's played phenomenally all year, and he's going to say, "Look, fellas, don't forget about me," and he's going to be that factor. I think he's going to probably give you about 20 points. And then also with his defense, he's going to be pesky, especially against Luka. Do I think he's going to shut him down? Of course not. But, he's going to give him problems, and he's going to force Luka to end up miss more shots than he's making, of course. And, Luka will get his number, but he's going to have to get it through high volume. So, that's what I see in terms of, tomorrow's game. So great point, fellas. Great contributions there. Mitch says, huge fan of Derek White. And for me, it's PJ White or Hardaway Jr. Dallas needs this win. No, you're right. You guys are right. Dallas does need the win because all they want to do is go back to Dallas with a split. So, and it's going to be interesting, but I just want to see, can Dallas overcome and, not let it get into their head. And then with Kyrie and his comments, will the fans really get into it and cause more problems for them? So we'll see tomorrow night. So it's going to be interesting. So we're going to move on to talk a little bit of the real man sport. And it's going to be the NFL. And let me pull up. I've been forgetting to pull up the banner. Sorry, guys. I keep forgetting about that. So, but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. And just talk a little bit about the most recent happenings especially with the Minnesota Vikings. The big news is their new uniforms. Did you see the new uniforms? The all-white uniforms with the white helmet? But that's not the big news. We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about JJ, Justin Jefferson, getting that big monster contract. Also, what it does it set a new market for the wide receivers in the NFL going forward? So I was surprised personally that it was done now. I'll be honest with you. I probably thought it was probably going to happen a little bit closer towards the season. Maybe even if it went into the season, it wouldn't have surprised me. But for him to get that contract and that money, it just really said to me, okay, first of all, Minnesota wants him to definitely stay around, which he is. I didn't expect him to be gone, but for him to get that money, it was a big thing. And then the way it set the market for the other wide receivers who are looking for that big payday. But let's talk about that first. What's your thoughts on halftime uh, in terms of Justin Jefferson getting that big payday?
Listen, first of all, for all the people that said Justin Jefferson was going to get traded, he ain't going to be a Viking. Stop it. You guys say everybody's getting traded. You know how hard it is to trade somebody? It don't come easy. And a guy with his athletic ability, you don't go trade the man. You got to pay him. He got paid. I think it's going to hurt a lot of teams in their wide receivers where they got to pay them. Like CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dallas it's gonna hurt Dallas to give him that big contract that he's gonna get. It is going to hurt a lot of teams.
Yep.
The Eagles, what did they do fast before Jefferson got his money? They signed their guys. You know what I mean? Sign them fast, sign them easy. Before they even know anybody knew what kind of contract was coming out, they're like, let's get our guys, and we got them on the wraps. But everybody else is over there going, wait a minute. Well, look what Jefferson's getting. Look at my stat. I want to get paid. I want that money. And I never thought I would be able. I would never thought I would see a wide receiver to get this much money.
Right?
I mean, if you really think about it, everybody thought $25 million was out of control. And now what's he getting? 32 or 33 million a year?
35? I thought it was 35. Hold on, let me double check.
I mean, we thought 25 million was crazy. He's getting 35, 33, whatever it is.
Most valuable positions. Cornerbacks, number 5, receiver.
So yeah, I mean, like he's getting paid like some quarterbacks are making. You know what I mean? And I get it. The NFL's really getting big and they're spending a lot of money. But I mean, the salaries are going to have to, they're going to really have to bump up the salary cap.
Yeah, it's 4 years, 140 million, 35 million. He did get 110 guaranteed though, but yeah, it's 35 million.
It's the most. It's unreal what he's getting paid. And that's what I was like, dude, I never thought I would ever see this. 25, you're like, all right, I can understand it. 35 million a year. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that are making $35 million a year.
But he has 6,000 receiving yards almost. He's like, I think only like 30-something yards away from 6,000 in just his short time. And he was injured most of the year last year.
But see, here's the thing with Jefferson, though.
Remember the running backs used to make $35 million a year, Coach? Back in the day.
35 million a year? No.
I mean, who was it? Who was it? It was
they made the most money at one point in time because
of money back in the day.
35 million.
Not 35 million.
I know what you meant.
Most money. It made 20. I think they made 25 million, the most. And I was like, that was the top notches of running backs. The way the wide receivers are going right now, it's crazy. But don't get me wrong. He had 6,000 yards, but it was it's unreal.
When you look at the quarterback, though, that's the thing, though, because the quarterback, if they're getting $50-60 million, then why is he getting that kind of money? Because he's throwing the football to a wide receiver who's catching it. So it kind of is like, okay, it's do we wish some of us wish the running backs were more respected as a whole, yes. But when you think about the game, it's a passing league. The quarterbacks are passing to who? The wide receivers, and the wide receivers are playing in a dynamic ass. They produce at a dynamic in a dynamic sense, on the field. So I get why, and because I'm with you, $35 million, that's a lot. Sometimes wide receivers only going to touch the ball 5 times in the game, where a running back is probably going to touch the ball 20 times a game.
Yeah.
Okay, I get the quarterback because he directs the offense, and I get it in terms of the money, the way the money is there. But in the same token, a wide receiver at $35 million. Now, Justin Jefferson, you can argue he's the best, but like you said, what does that say about CeeDee Lamb? What's CeeDee Lamb going to ask for? Maybe not 35 million, but if he says, well, he's 35, I need 30. Okay, yes. Jerry Jones. And now you're talking about Dak Prescott. Are you going to pay him $60 million? So that's $90 million. And then you got to get over to the defense. So, it's tying up a lot of money in
Michael
that
Parsons
regard.
needs to get paid.
Yeah. So it's for me, it's a funny dichotomy. And I mean, when you really look at it, I mean, look at Cincinnati. Look at Cincinnati. What are you going to do over there? Now you got T. Higgins who wants his money.
Yep.
This is
and
also
T. Higgins is over there pointing to Jefferson. Yep. Look what he's getting.
So Cincinnati, you either trade him to a team that's going to pay him his money. And, there are some teams that will pony up the money to give him his money. And then others are going to be like, well, I'm not in that market. So,
So what's he going to get paid? Like $32 million too?
He's probably going to ask for this almost the same thing. Yeah, 32. I could see CeeDee Lamb saying 30 to 32 and him doing this and Higgins doing the same exact thing. So
you guys are also forgetting too, Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers is waiting to see what all this is going on because he wants to get paid. So
yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
and Deebo Samuel is getting traded. What's he going to get?
Yeah, and that's the thing where
Tyreek Hill wants a renewed contract now that Waddle got his. He's on his last year.
Here's the question. You guys got your 2 receivers signed early before the market was set. So now can you afford to pay 2 wide receivers top premium money nowadays? And it's going to quickly come to the point that no, you can't. No, you can't. I can't see Miami paying Waddle and Tyreek Hill. For me, and what are you going to give Tua? Because he's coming up. So if you give him big money contract, you may not be able to afford Tyreek Hill. So now it's going to be, well, you got to get something for him. So now you're going to really have to, trade him, if you want to be honest, how I see it. So it's really more of a running. Yeah, you're right, Damien. It's a running league. You're so right. So, what's up, Earl? Thanks for tapping in, brother. Always a good time. Good seeing you here. Appreciate all you do. So, but
we're good. What's good, Gregor?
Yeah, I agree with you, Gregor. But the owners don't want to do that because that's taking money from them.
Remember, billionaires don't like to give out money.
We as fans want players to get paid, but the owners, it's a business to them. I'm sorry. They're going to be like, no.
You have like a 500 million minimum, and then like if you go over, it's a hard cap. The NFL would be paying everybody. Everybody on the field would be getting a little chunk of something. So, but it's not. That's why they make it like this. So it's like it's hard to pay certain players. So you got to pick and choose, and sometimes that might be the right choice. Sometimes it might not be the right choice. That's what makes or breaks a franchise, and you have to stop or either rebuild. So
then again, you imagine if the NFL didn't have a salary cap.
No, the Cowgirls would be the highest paid.
No. Big market teams, because then that means teams like the Giants, teams like in LA, teams in Dallas, teams in Philadelphia. You could pay whatever you want. So then it's like, think about that. Chicago. You could but then you're going to hurt other teams like Seattle, like Jacksonville,
and they ain't got the money.
Carolina, they won't have the money, and then you would see them folding up shop after a few years, and that's not what the league wants. That's why they want parity. That's exactly why they want parity. And in terms of business, they're right. That's what you want. That's why you need to have the hard cap. You want to say, no, we don't want everybody just spending whatever they want. This is the top number, and everybody needs to spend up until this point. How you do it is your business, but this is the number that you need to spend at. So, what are your thoughts?
You spread all them, like all the better players around the whole, NFL.
League. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out of the league. Then you're like, oh my God, look at Washington, what Washington's doing. Like, they're like, how did they get all this money? Because they got rid of all the garbage freaking people that they were paying just because they had to pay them that price.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to pay them that price. They had to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're twisting my arm here. All I got is you. You know what I mean? And
then you're like, well, then you're going to
overpay you.
Exactly. So, what's your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey though, getting a 2-year extension at $19 million? Does he change the running back market, or do you think it's just going to be because it's Christian McCaffrey, no other team is going to pay running backs that kind of money?
I think he's rebuilding the market for the NFL for running backs. I think it's going to go up. The salary cap goes up every year.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're going to do is, this is what's going to really happen. The NFL is going to have more have another game. They're going to get rid of, preseason. They're going to get rid of it. They're not going to have preseason at all eventually. I mean, Coach, we've seen this a long time, and now we're not going to be seeing them games. They're going to be playoff games. These are going bigger and bigger, and all the salary cap's going to go up. And I think they're going to even add more players to the rosters. You know what I mean? So,
well, then if they add more to the roster and raise the salary cap, how much more are they raising the salary cap? But is that average? Because if you were to take, let's just say, let's just say it's $500 million as an argument for the salary cap, just for an argument. And you have 53 players, you take that and divide it just to get an average. So if they're adding players, but they're increasing, let's say they increase the salary cap $5 million, but you add on an extra 10 players, that's reducing your overall average in my eye, because now it makes it harder. How are you going to pay certain players? That's how I look at it.
See, that's the thing. Like you said, that's your business, how you handle your team. But I think that's just going to be, I think it's going to go up. I see us having no preseason games and just going straight to, hey, here it is. I don't know how you're going to get from 99 to the 53-man roster. So that's why I said that they're going to up the roster.
No, I get where you're going in terms of upping the roster. It was just that when you up the roster and then you up the salary cap, that means, how much more, because then that's more mouths to feed in a sense. But now if you're not increasing the average to equal what it already is, then, you're taking away from somebody somewhere along the line in the end, who you're taking. Right. And then, do teams actually put out a less qualified player out there because you're paying another position at a premium rate? So, it's a catch-22. For me, I just think it's an aberration. It's just him. I don't think every running back is going to be seeing an increase in terms of dollars. They're going to try and argue it in contracts, but the argument is, well, he does so much more for their team, which is why he's getting, that money, because he's also a wide receiver. How many snaps does he play? So it's actually more where if you got a starter, on a team, but you know what? He only gets 20 carries a game, or I'm sorry, no, let's just say he gets 15 touches in a game, but Christian McCaffrey is getting 25, 30 touches in the game, then it justifies his money. Where that other running back, no, the team's going to say, no, your value doesn't meet that. So, now does it in terms of the franchise tag, does it up it? Yes. And I think that's where some running backs are going to want to grab their money is through the franchise tag. Otherwise, most running back, and don't forget, most running backs, they're done by the age 30. So
yeah, they're 5 years and they're done.
Exactly.
Most of them.
So it in terms of the running back market, I don't see it growing. It's just that I think Christian McCaffrey was just that one aberration. And yes, you're going to see a running back here or there who then might push it. Then that's a different story. Like, for argument's sake, Saquon with you guys, could he have said, oh, I want to renegotiate, or if he waited, whatever, could he have said, well, I want close to that? Yes. Or Henry, or Derrick Henry, whoever. My point being is the top running backs, they're going to try and get that $19 million, or what, even if they get 16, 17 million a year, that, because before we were like, nah, most running backs, maybe keep it around 10, maybe the 12 million at tops, and that's where it is. Most are not going to see, if they do see an increases, I can't see them getting more than an extra $1 million tops, in terms of their contract. So, and I joked about it earlier, but the Vikings and their white uniforms. Do you guys like that? Did you like that white uniform, the all white that they had?
I did.
You did?
I did. I like the purple. I like the outline with the purple. It looked sick. It looked neat.
What about you?
I didn't like it, but I'm old. I like old school way. I don't like that. I don't like it.
I like the Bengal all whites.
I don't know. It was too white for me.
With the black stripes and the
too white. Too much white. I mean, when these they're done, it's going to be all green and dirty.
That's what I love about it, because then I love seeing, like, okay, they played hard, and then you see some guys not even dirty. You're like, okay, that motherfucker didn't even see the ground.
No, I get you. I mean, I've been back and forth with it. I'm like, it's something that probably has to take time, because I'm used to Minnesota, the purple helmets. It's just the purple helmets. It's just been there for decades, and it's something that I'm just used to. So I heard they were signing a petition with don't know if that's true. Okay.
Oh, no, don't believe it.
No, Casey wouldn't do that. They love her because of what she brings. But as far as the damn, you threw me. You threw me, Randy. I thought you were sitting when you leaned back. It looked like you were sitting behind the desk for a whole second. I really thought you were behind the desk, so it threw me. So yeah, when you did that, I'm like, damn, what you do? Did you change it? So, but no.
I'm looking at the TV. Michigan's beating Birmingham right now, 18-12.
Yeah, I know. I got that on too. It's at halftime. Now Michigan was up actually by double digits, and Birmingham is closing the gap on them. So the Vikings still sick, but the uniforms look clean, way better than the Giants uniform. Well, you want to go there? I will always say the
uniform is old school.
It's about the history. It's about the championship of the program. It's paying homage. I get it, where today's day and age, everyone wants to look good, to play good and feel good. Nah, I'm old school. Look, I like that. I like the nostalgia.
They look like a hockey team now. The Giants look like a hockey team. I forget the name of the hockey team, but they got like the same colors of a hockey team now. So I get what people are saying, but
yeah, no, I get it. I get it too, and but that's me. I'm like you, Randy. I'm old school. I like the old school aspect of certain uniforms, so it doesn't bother me, and I like the history associated with it, because I like the storyline behind it.
Yes,
Minnesota, I get it. You're with the color rush aspect of everything. I get what's going on today, so I don't begrudge it. It's just, what, it's something that I got to get used to. You know. I'm
just
used to
ain't for
purple.
me, but get used to it.
I'm used to the purple people eater, so that helmet tells me the purple people eater. So,
Yep.
but I get it. I do understand. It was just like Detroit when they went to the silver helmet back in a few years back. You're so used to the original, but then they went to the plain nothing on it silver helmet. It's like, huh? But then you see it's a representation of their history. So then it's like, all right, then I can appreciate it. So it is.
And that's what I like. That's what I like. I like going back the old school way. If you're going to change something, but
and can you Tennessee Titans please give back the Houston Texans the Houston Oilers jersey?
Thank you.
Like that, the proper representation, because it may look fucking stupid with you guys repping it when you guys don't like it's.
There's no. Yeah, because the Houston Oilers. I understand you. If that was the case, look what Baltimore did. They left. They left the Browns in Browns. Now the Colts, different story. They took the name with them. But you changed. You didn't keep the Tennessee Oilers. You changed the name. Well, then leave the name in Houston where it belongs. So
exactly.
That's what I never could understand. I'm like, why is Tennessee got to Houston? And I'm like, you're not in Houston no more. You got to leave Houston. Houston.
I don't get it. I understand that's part of your history, but
Houston Texans should be the Houston Oilers too. I understand the owner moved it. I get all that stupid shit. But yeah, you got to give it back. Say, here's your uniforms.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of basically all teams, but the Dallas Cowgirls. I love their throwbacks. Like I love Tampa Bay's cream throwback. Like that is so nice. I love that color. So nice. I even love the Seattle Seahawks throwback color. I love the old school looking bird and stuff. Like I love a lot of these throwbacks, but they're properly represented by the team. That doesn't make like you guys said. You guys changed the name. Now it has no meaning to you. Give it to the team that it would represent.
The city.
Exactly.
So I'm with you on that. So, but
I just did out my chest. Sorry.
No, that was great because
I
was always thinking about that. I'm like, why? Like,
yeah, right. Like,
you guys don't even make any sense. Like, it's a head scratcher.
Anything
and
else?
The Titans sorry, Coach. And the Titans got some decent, throwback jerseys. I mean, shit, when they had Javon Curse and Steve McNair, those were decent unis back then. Rep those. Why? Like, get GTFO. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have anything else you want to talk about in terms of the NFL? No. All right. We're gonna go.
Nothing really has been going on with the NFL.
So, yeah, no, I know it's OTAs and stuff, and you get it. To me, OTAs is just practice, man. Everybody tries to make it more than what it is. It's
listen, they're in t-shirts and freaking shorts, not doing a damn thing.
What did Iverson always say? We talking about practice. Practice.
Practice, man.
That's all it is to
not
me.
Game. Not game, but practice.
Exactly. And
not
that's
the game I love. But practice.
I don't take it. I don't make it more than what it is. I don't make it more than or less than what it is. It's just practice. So, but now we're going to move on to the NHL, and the NHL tonight starts the first. That's the first game of the championship.
Stanley Cup final.
So, you have Edmonton versus Florida. That's hard. That's hard to say. As someone, Florida hockey,
right?
Hockey? Like, right. But I get it. I get the business.
Not hockey, buddy.
It's where you expect hockey players to go when there's no hockey, but to play hockey, you're right. Like it's crazy. But the Florida Panthers have a deep history too. They've gone to a Stanley Cup in the past. It's just they've never been. They're one of the very few teams left in the NHL that haven't won a Stanley Cup. So
right.
So briefly, Randy, go ahead. I know number one, it's big in Canada because this is the first time Canada has the possible opportunity to win the championship after what was it, 30 years, if I'm not
30,
mistaken?
32 years.
Okay, so I know it's a big thing in Canada. So, who do you have win? All right, first of all, let's start with today's game. Who do you think is a who do you think wins the game, and who is a big X factor for these games?
Okay, so
This game,
I
sorry.
just want to get this out of the way. I'm a Calgary Flames fan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Calgary Flames fan, our arch enemy is just
Mm-hmm.
up the road, only 3 hours away. And
Mm-hmm.
I live in Leduc, and Leduc is about 20 minutes outside of Edmonton,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like cheering for the Dallas Cowgirls. Like it's something I'll
Oh,
never
wow.
do.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm picking the Florida Panthers to take down the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, it's gonna be good because both teams have had some time off to kind of rest,
Mm-hmm.
some wounds and stuff. And I know how most people would say, "Oh, that might be a detriment," like in basketball. Well, it's completely different in hockey, just because of like the speeds they play at, what they do with their bodies, how quick their shifts are, but how many they play, right? So, a fast-paced game, and they only stop when the whistle blows. But for me, I got the X factor for this game and probably for the series, but for this game mostly, I'm going to say Carter Verhaeghe for the Florida Panthers. I think that
Mm-hmm.
he's very underrated when you hear everybody talk about like when it comes to the big guys or the big three for each team. Obviously, you got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for Edmonton. But then if you go over to Florida, you got Matthew Tkachuk, Barkov, and Reinhardt. Well, Verhaeghe's always the guy that kind of gets forgotten in all that, and he's had himself a silent but really good playoff this year. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be the X factor for them. But the only issue, and it's been an issue for everybody during these playoffs, is Edmonton's power play is lethal. They're about 33 point or 37 point something percent, which works out to about a goal a game. So if you put them on the power play, they're probably going to score against you. And like David said, McDavid's a beast. He's arguably like our generation or this generation's Wayne Gretzky. Obviously not the same accolades when it comes to cups and cups finals, because this is McDavid's first cup final in 9 years being in the league. But when it comes to MVPs, multiple 100-point seasons, goals scored, assists, McDavid's been in the league 9 years. He's a point a game player. He has over 900 points, almost close to 1,000. There's some guys that have played in the league 17 years and don't even have 1,000 points. So let that sink in as to like how good of a player McDavid is. And McDavid was out, I believe, maybe a year and a half when he got hurt during a game where he broke his tibia. So, the guy's unbelievable. He's the next level. So my biggest question mark, and that's why I'm excited to watch it, is what is Florida going to be able to do to slow him down? Because you can't stop McDavid, but you got to somehow slow him down. So it's going to be a fun series to watch nonetheless.
Okay. I mean, hey, great breakdown. I really appreciate that. Halftime, what's your thoughts on tonight's game? Who do you think wins and who's the next factor?
I got the Panthers. And I do have the Panthers like Randy does. I think they're going to win it all. I think it's time for them to win it all. Panthers, I just like when they off the bench guys, they're just so stacked. Like they're both full teams. Both teams got, even off the bench, they got everybody can fucking play. That ain't not, you know what I mean? But I think the Panthers are faster. I think they can just. The problem is, who's going to be more physical? Who's going to put it out there on the line? You know what I mean, Randy? Like, you know how these teams are going to be. These are going to be the most physical game you see. People are going to be hurt. And I'm just so curious what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to be the X factor, but I just, like that's why I want to watch it tonight and see. But it's like, what defense is going to show up on what team? What defense? Who's going to? Hey, how many fights is there going to be? Who's going to be the physicality in this? And there will be a fight tonight. Both teams are not going to play kid games. They're going to put it all on the line, and that's why I love hockey, man. Fucking watching somebody just drop the gloves and seeing some fist fighting. That's why I love hockey so much.
Nothing better. That's
the only reason why I used to at least turn in to see if there's going to be a fight or two. Otherwise, I know nothing about hockey. So I mean, it's just
they're the most physical as people in.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't hear halftime.
You're muted, halftime.
You're still muted.
Yeah, I don't know
like
what
just
happened.
muted you halfway through talking. I was like, I can't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Like, yeah, like, I don't know what happened. Apparently I got muted.
Well,
in my hand on the damn desk, and I'm gonna mute myself somehow.
You like got all rambunctious, you like smacked it.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there's
we don't
guys
read
out
lip.
there, they get 26 stitches in them, and they sit there and they're like, they come back. Like they're back in the game and like, hey, next period, here I am. 26 stitches, here I go. And they put everything out on the line. That's why I always say a lot of some players are soft. You look at hockey people, they're not that soft, man. It's a different animal.
Your guy, Jacob Trouba on the New York Rangers, played the whole season with a broken ankle. The defenseman for the Rangers.
Wow.
Yeah, he played with a broken ankle.
He got it during the season, and he didn't want to sit out because he knew that you guys had a team and they could go on a deep playoff run. And he had, by the time the season ended, a chunk of bone had been missing.
Wow.
Okay.
So like some of them,
they got to put a bolt in his ankle now. They're talking about putting metal in his ankle. That's how fucked up he was.
This goes to show you that players will do whatever it takes to win the Stanley Cup. Because, like, no offense to any other sport, it's one of the hardest trophies to win because you got to win 4 games each series on the way to winning the Stanley Cup. And then it's like block shots. You'll do whatever it takes. Sometimes you might block a shot and it might catch the one part of your leg that's not being blocked by any protective gear, and there it goes, or it hits your ankle on the side and might crack your ankle because some guy can shoot 100 from the point or whatever, which Bouchard for Edmonton can crank. He can hit upwards of 98 miles an hour. So Florida's going to be very, very sore. But like Halftime said, Florida's very physical. I like the way they play. They get on the forecheck and they put a body on you. Every time someone touches the puck, put a body on you. It doesn't matter if I'm hitting you, but if I'm touching you, it agitates you after a while. Remember, this is a 4-game series. So, I'm going to be in your face. Every time you turn, boom, right there. Hi, bitch. Boom. I'm going to check it. Maybe even push the envelope a little bit after the whistle and kind of give a guy a dirty glove, rub it in his face. I hear those things stink like ass because it's all where all the sweat goes when they're skating right off their hands. So it's like, it's going to be a fun series. Matthew Tkachuk knows Edmonton because he used to play for the Calgary Flames before we traded him to the Florida Panthers. So he's familiar with McDavid and they're familiar with him. And then they also have Sam Bennett, who used to play with the Flames on the Florida as well. So they all know. And McDavid played with Sam Bennett, I believe, in the minors. He called him, and I quote, one of his most favorite players to play with. Well, you ain't playing with him. You're playing against him. And this motherfucker plays borderline dirty. I will say there are some times where Bennett might push the envelope and might chicken wing somebody and kind of catch him on the chin and try to knock him out or hit you a certain way. He did it in the Boston series where he hit Brad Marchand, and as he was falling down, he threw a punch and hit him in the face, and he actually concussed him, knocked him out.
Okay.
So he plays with a bit of a nasty side.
Yeah, they're this is why I love hockey, though. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's the most entertaining. You want entertainment, you watch it tonight. They're just very nasty. They give you 110%. They will give you low blows. They will do everything.
And since they took out the red line and they just have the blue lines now, it's more offense now. So you don't have to worry. You can make from one side to the other side passes. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. You weren't allowed. You had to bring the puck up as a defenseman or a forward. So the NHL is trying to evolve and trying to create more offense. They made the goalie pads a little bit smaller than normal, so it generates a little bit more exposure on the net. So.
And they took the wings off the goalies too.
Off the shoulders, yeah. Because remember, like Brodeur and like Eddie Belfour, they just sat in the net like fucking turkeys, and you're like, oh, how am I supposed to score that?
I mean that's interesting. I mean, you guys sound like you're getting me excited a little bit to get into hockey. Again. Who, me?
No, halftime.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
I don't know what's going on my computer right now.
The ghost is muting you.
No, I swear to God, if I hit it, I mute myself. I don't know. Put my hand behind my back.
You have to remain completely still.
Yeah.
No, but you guys are, piquing my interest, and I got to start looking into hockey a little bit more, to see. About the game. It's just, some of the rules and trying to, once I learn the rules, then, I can really dive into it because, I'm a coach. I need to analyze down, so it's in a way that I can really appreciate the sport. So, but that's really interesting. So
when Randy was talking about the red line, Coach, it went crazy. It was out of control. Because you couldn't do a 2-line pass. You know what I mean? There was rules back in the day that there was a 2-line pass, and you're not allowed to do that. Now all of a sudden I'm like, you only got the 2 blue lines. I'm like, dude, shoot that damn thing.
Or your defenseman's behind the net and he sees that they're changing, and you got a guy that you got a forward cut across. He can just take the puck and go fuck it, and he can just crank it up the ice, get him up the middle, and then you got a one-on-one goalie versus shooter who wants to dance and who's gonna fall and where's the puck gonna end up. I love breakaways. Those are some of my favorites. Those and one-timers. I love one-timers.
Breakaways are awesome. One-timers are my favorite.
Yeah, one-timers
are fucking awesome.
It's like
I love one-on-one.
Yes, I love the one-on-one because I can't understand how someone can pass the puck over a stick, saucer it, it bounces not even once, hits the ice, slides, and then the guy gets it just perfectly and can find it in that net. It's like, I can't even do it with a tennis ball out on the street. How do you do that with a hockey puck? But it's wild.
And I love it. And that's why I love hockey.
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. I'm looking at the game too as we go along. So, yeah, we're about ready to start wrapping it up. So, how many fights?
I wanted to thank everybody for the chat. 60 people in this chat, and you guys are staying strong the whole entire time. That's awesome.
I would stay a little bit longer, but I got to also prepare because I got a stream tonight at 6:00. So, that's why, I'm about ready to start wrapping it up. Have a great night tonight, halftime. But what we're going to do is this week, we're going to talk about what you guys got going on. Randy, for the upcoming week, what you got going on? Streams, videos, whatever. Talk to us.
I got the pick and roll on Wednesday. I am supposed to do the game tonight, but as we were talking, my TV went out, so I don't know if my TV died. So I don't know how I'm gonna watch the hockey game tonight. But anyways, I hope something happens. Oh, But anyways, I just got the pick and roll on Wednesday. Potentially the hockey game tonight, but stay tuned for that. And then yeah, nothing really until the football season starts. Really, maybe some things might pop up here and there or whatever, but nothing much other than that. So
okay. Definitely, everybody, make sure you tune in to next shift and check out what he has going on. His information is in the description for you.
peekaboo.
What about you, Halftime? What do you got going on this week?
Tonight I'm supposed to stream What's a Philly Thing with Jerry Lee, and we're gonna talk a little bit about baseball, football, see
Cool.
what's going on there. And then tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm streaming the Phillies.
Okay.
And then later on night, me and Junior will be doing I always get his I get his 1 o'clock. I get his 1 hour, 2 hours. So
Cool.
me and Junior are going to be streaming a video game for 1 or 2 hours, depending on what he wants.
Okay.
I am going to a movie tomorrow.
Okay. What you going to see?
What movie?
Have you guys seen the trailer for that new M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Watchers?
No.
Go watch it.
Is it good?
It's creepy.
Oh,
It's creepy and it's kooky.
It's spooky and it's
Yeah.
that's Adam.
That's old school. Yeah. I love the I love the Adams family. Let's not start that. Let's not start that from last week.
Yeah,
man.
you know how it's gonna go, Coach.
Yeah.
This place will light up.
Yeah. I don't think I would get off be able to go stream the game. So and that's for me.
I think so, Mitch, but I don't know. TRL's been really busy with work, so.
As far as me, I have tonight. I have at 6 o'clock. Like I said, I'm streaming the indoor arena style football game, Jersey Bearcats versus the Maryland Warriors. If the Bearcats win, they get into the playoffs. They're the actual defending champions of the AAL2. So definitely want to see if they can make it in to defend their championship. Tomorrow I got Giants conversation with NYG. Tuesday I have Heart of the City with NYG. Wednesday Pick and Roll podcast. Thursday Full Court Press with Nick and Randy. Where we talk about the WNBA. And next Saturday, we'll be back for another episode of the Halftime Coach and Adjustment Show. And I may be picking up a few more lives during the course of the week. So I'm trying to see what I can work out. I'm trying to stay busy. Coach is trying to really get on his grind, especially with football season coming up. So trying to get prepared and going. So, but that's what I have going on this week. So we're going to get ready to close this out. I mean, Randy, anything in closing that you want to say to the audience?
Just thanks you guys for having me on. It was a blast, and shout out to the chat. And like Halftime said, solid 60 constant, whether it was up or down. And just it was a fun time. I had a lot of fun.
I really appreciate you being here today. Halftime, you have anything that you want to add in before we get out of here?
Hey, it was awesome. Let's keep this 60 going next week. It's been lighting up. Let's see how good we can get this stream going. I'm super stoked how we've been doing so far.
Exactly. So I feel the same way. I'm thankful, Randy. I appreciate you tapping in, man. It's been a blast,
Thank
man.
you.
I mean, everything that we talked about. Look, everyone, Mitch Kowski, Butterfly. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go through Nick, Star Wars, Mike Green, Damian, Roger, Krupa. Kraupa. Sorry, I remember it from last time. Grega, Butterfly, Star Wars, Damien. I remember Leaf was in here. Earl, thanks for tapping in, brother. As always, Mitch. Walter Johnson, Mrs. Halftime. Who am I forgetting? Nick Gregor, Star Wars, Nick, Donovan McCheetahs, Mellow Goated, Nick. Am I getting everybody? Did I forget? There's still more tips. Yeah, Leaf Diggy, Screaming Jerry Lee, Adam Hurl. Wow, you guys were awesome, man. The Suey, Tommy for Tony. Thanks for being in here. Screaming Jerry Lee, halftime. I think I got Blaze. Yeah, Blaze was in here. Victor, he was in here. Thank you for tapping in and showing us love and contributing to the chat. David Thomas, Chad Schrader. You almost threw me. He said Philly halftime. It threw me for a second. You got me with that one.
He was here too.
Yeah, our cool. Thank you for being in here. Chad, Star Wars, Mitch, Philly, our cool normal guy, Man Cave, El Capitan Rafael El Fucho, Charles Adderley, Chad, Daniel Berry. Yeah, and I think I got everybody. Thank you guys for being in the chat, tapping in with us, giving us a great insight to everything that we talked about today, contributing. This has been a great family. I mean, we've gone over so much. So again, thanks to everyone for being in here. Looking forward to next week's show, and I hope you guys had a great time. And we're out of here.